Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are San Diego.
Obviously, it was a really tough call. I mean, Buddy is a tremendous person. He's a good baseball guy. He's got a tremendous family, so I think, and grew to like him, and I had a lot of respect for him throughout the process. But ultimately, charged with trying to get this team in a better position, and I felt like making the change in the managing spot was a way to hopefully head in that direction.
That's Padres general manager A.J. Preller. The news of the day, Buddy Black fired as the manager of the San Diego Padres. Not just another night around the ballpark here for these Padres.
No, it's the nature of the beast in this world of sports that we live in. And believe me, these coaches, managers, players, they know what they're signing up for. So a day like this is a dark one for a lot of people in the Padre organization. But know this, Padre fans, A.J. Preller said it himself. He holds Buddy Black in high regard. The people in the baseball world hold Buddy in high regard. He just wants a different voice to try to lead this team to do better things. A game under 500, so that's the way it goes. And, as much as it is a tough day right now, I kind of have to chuckle a little bit because I'll guarantee you, if Buddy was asked a question regarding today, what would Buddy say? That's baseball. And you know what? I say that sincerely because he knows that he signed up for this, that this day might come. Very few managers get to ride it out and say, you know what, I'm going to ride off into the sunset like Bobby Cox. It doesn't happen. So Buddy would even say, you know what, that's baseball, and it is.
Nature of the beast, as they say. A little bit more from A.J. Preller about the reason for the change and also the timing of today's decision.
It's not like any one specific thing that you put your finger on. I really, the one thing that, in the back of my mind as I looked at it, I started thinking over the last few weeks that he may not be the guy for next year. And when that happened, I started thinking about, okay, is there a voice for this year that might be able to jumpstart us a little bit? And I didn't really think it was fair to Buddy or anyone to, kind of in my own mind have the, hey, make a call day to day or anything like that, depending on how we played. I just didn't really think that was the case. And, I just felt like, hey, if he wasn't necessarily going to be the guy going forward, I think we can make a change now and go from there with it.
All right, coming up, we'll take you inside the Padre clubhouse, hear from some of the different players in there and how they're feeling about today's news. Buddy Black out as we get ready for the first game in a series between the Padres and the A's. Weekday, Thrive, and by Sony 4K, the leader of 4K Ultra HD.
Welcome back to San Diego. As we've been telling you, after 9 seasons as the Padres manager, Bud Black was fired today. I got to speak with several players inside the clubhouse, and a lot of them said they were surprised, especially with the timing of the announcement. But they all agreed on one thing, that they have to take accountability for their role in this decision.
I mean, it's shocking. I mean, anytime you hear something like that, you don't expect that. It's not a very common thing, but I mean, it is a business, and then stuff does happen.
As players, you definitely feel accountable for decisions that are made like this, and you know, Buddy's been great. He's been everything that I've heard coming into this season, and he's been a joy to work with as a manager, a great communicator. You know, so yeah, I think it's easy to say that it's tough for a lot of guys in this clubhouse today.
But moving forward, they also all said that the news, the actions that happened today, that's this morning. It's now time to focus on baseball. The A's are in town for 2 games here in San Diego. Interleague action continues today. We got first pitch coming up on Fox Sports San Diego.
Again leads the National League in throwing out runners. And a perfect throw to Jerko, plants the tag on Pollock. And the throw's on the money. There goes McCutcheon, and throw out. Derek Norris captures another.
Derek Norris, an all-star with the Oakland Athletics in 2014, looking to be an all-star for the Padres here in 2015. Game 1 of a 4-game series between the Padres and the A's. 2 here and then 2 up there. Dave Roberts, the acting manager for the Padres until the team names their interim manager for the rest of the season. And the former A, Tyson Ross, heads out to the mound to take on his former team here tonight. Lots of connections between these two. Plenty of trades between the Padres and the A's over the last several seasons. Not just Ross, not just Norris. We'll talk about those as the night goes on. The Oakland lineup is brought to you by Hyundai. Billy Burns, one of the top leadoff men in baseball so far this season, is out there in center field, and he can go get it. Eric Sogard, former Padre farmhand, batting second. A great season so far for Josh Reddick. Stephen Vogt, one of the top catchers in the American League, and you see a familiar name down at the bottom, Jesse Hahn, came up with the Padres last season.
On the mound, making his 14th start of the year, 28-year-old Tyson Ross. And it's so important to smooth out the mechanics. If he does just that, the fastball location is going to be there. And we always talk about winning that 1-1 battle. You don't want to go 2-1. You want to be 1-2. And we know what Tyson Ross can do with that wipeout slider if he gets that 1-2 count.
Defense behind him is brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. There's Justin Upton. He's in left field. Matt Kemp will be in right. Will Venable in center again. Solarte at the hot corner with Amarista next to him. On the right side of the infield, Corey Spangenberg and that guy, Yonder Alonso. No surprise, Derek Norris behind the plate against his old team. Got to know Derek Norris pretty well over the last few months. You get the sense he's probably pretty excited for this series against the team that traded him.
No question about it. I'm sure that as Bob Melvin looks out at his lineup before they face Tyson Ross, Derek Norris was probably heavily into the scouting reports for these Oakland Athletics, being a catcher and being around these guys. They talk quite a bit, so when you go to a new team, you share those notes. Let's see if they come to fruition tonight.
First trip to Petco Park for the A's since June of 2009. They took 2 out of 3 games in that series. And Tyson Ross, who pitched for Oakland for 3 years, will go to work against Billy Burns, Eric Sogard, and Josh Reddick here in the top of the first inning. .313 average, 2 homers, 10 RBIs, and 51 hits this season in 39 games. That leads all American League rookies. Burns played 13 games for the A's last season, and he tops this one fair. There you go.
He just grounded out to the catcher. First pitch of the game.
Nice job by Derek Norris, pouncing on that ball in fair territory. Bob Melvin's going to want an explanation from the home plate umpire, Mike DeMuro. We've seen a few of these this year.
We have. And you know what? It's that imaginary line. It's the imaginary line from the back of home plate. From the back of home plate, there's an imaginary line, right? So anything here lands there, that's a fair ball in the umpire's judgment.
That's why home plate is shaped the way it is.
That's right.
The back part, at least. So quickly, 1 away for Tyson Ross, who does not get that call, facing the bespectacled Eric Sogard. The Oakland second baseman hitting .255 this season. Went from the Padres to the A's in that Kevin Kuzminoff, Scott Hairston trade before the 2010 season.
Well, that seems like eons ago.
Yeah.
When you mentioned those two names.
Those baseball connections. Tyson gets that call. 2-1. So obviously the news tonight for this Padre team, not just about this series against the Oakland A's, but about the larger picture. Buddy Black relieved of his duties by general manager A.J. Preller today. And Mud, as a player, what's going through your head?
Well, you know what, Jesse, I vowed when I took this job to sit in this chair, I refused to talk about back when I played because I really dislike that. But in this instance, I think I can offer some insight. I was playing for Larry Boa when he got fired back in 1988. Jack McKeon took over. And you know what? I'll be quite honest with you. I can't speak for the guys in the clubhouse. I can only speak for myself. But when that happened, I felt accountable, like I was one of the reasons why Larry Boa got fired. I didn't do my job. I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. And I personally had to do some looking in the mirror, like some of these guys talk about in sports in general. So, yeah, it was a bad day for me personally, bad day for the players, because there comes a point where you have to be accountable, and I felt a little bit a part of why that decision was made. And it's a horrible feeling for a player. So that's all I have to say about that.
1 out walk to Sogard. Here's the right fielder, Reddick. A couple of new Padres, Clint Barmas and Will Myers, looking on. Reddick among the American League leaders in batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage. You see the good numbers so far this season in 58 games.
Well, the offense for the Oakland Athletics this whole year has been up and down, kind of hard to figure out. Almost like the Padre offense. But their big Achilles heel is that bullpen, getting to the closer, Tyler Clippard.
They're a weird team. Tough to figure out. Worst record in the American League at 26-39. They've got a +15 run differential. You don't often see a team at the bottom of the standings with a positive run differential. There's a ground ball to short, and it could be 2. Amarista goes the long way. And 2 away.
Well, because of the shift, they could not turn that double play. Corey Spangenberg is playing way over towards the right side, towards the first base bag. Look at how far he's got to go. First of all, Alexi's got to go to his right. And you know what? That's quite an adjustment on Alexi's part. He was flat-footed, and he kind of buggy whipped that one across accurately for the out at first base.
And it's a nice play. And one of the side effects of all the defensive shifts we've seen around baseball is that guys aren't necessarily where you expect them to be, and a good adjustment on the fly by Amarista. So 2 outs and a man in scoring position for the left fielder Zobrist. Pretty straightaway look on the infield for him. Zobrist, a big part of the A's win in Anaheim yesterday afternoon. Oakland salvaged the series against the Angels after dropping the first 2. He went 3 for 5 with a couple of doubles and scored 3 of the 8 Oakland runs. Longtime Tampa Bay Ray, Ben Zobrist. And a pretty tight strike zone so far tonight for Tyson Ross.
And when you've got the movement of that 2-seam fastball, I'm not saying thrown down the heart of the plate, but catch a lot of the plate as we take a look at the umpires tonight, the arbiters. Sometimes when pitchers have this tremendous movement on that 2-seam fastball, when you're trying to nitpick, next thing you know, the ball's a 1.5 feet outside. Throw it towards the outer third of the plate, let the ball do the work. Hopefully it catches that corner.
Dangerous 2-0 count to Zobrist, and now 3 balls and no strikes. Tyson Ross, his last time out was against Atlanta. Kind of a solid start on Wednesday. Sogard at second with 2 away and a 3-0 count to Zobrist. The switch hitting outfielder waits, and he takes all the way. Strike 1.
What'd you say about a tight strike zone?
All right, fluctuating.
Yeah.
I'll switch adjectives here.
Look at pitch number 4.
2/3 of an inning into the game. Variable?
Yeah, go right back out there.
I think that's what they call it in video games.
Yeah.
The variable strike zone. And tries to go to that same spot, but this time a little bit more outside in the second walk of the inning for Tyson Ross.
Well, now it's time to take a look at the keys of the game. As always, brought to you by our good friends at San Diego Honda dealers in San Diego. A focus on the task at hand. Dave Roberts has got a lot on his plate, a lot going on before the game. So focus on what he said. Try to put together a lineup to win the ball game tonight and put pressure on the A's. Well, the defense, not good. Oof.
That's
not
part
good.
of the issue for Oakland. You say you got the 3rd worst record in baseball, worst in the American League, but the good run differential, defense has been a part of that. I don't mean to single out anybody, but Marcus Semien, the shortstop for the A's, 22 miscues this year. It's fair to single him out. 8 more errors than anybody else in baseball. Catcher vote. Takes strike 1. Big numbers behind the dish and plays a little first base. He's DH once, but mostly catching. 6th most runs batted in the American League, but he has been struggling. And he hits that one in the air to very shallow left field. Upton coming on. And he makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Couple of walks for Tyson Ross, but nothing for the A's. No score after a half. Everybody know, too, that in tonight's game we're participating in the Home Run Challenge. So tonight, every Padres home run in this game will raise $12,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. Great thing this time of year around Major League Baseball. As Will Venable steps to the plate, the Padre lineup is presented by Toyota. Pretty much what you'd expect for the Padres. Obviously, things have been changing a decent amount night to night for this team this year. And there is old friend Jesse Hahn.
And for Jesse Hahn, the 25-year-old scouting report brought to you by our friends at Verizon Wireless. 5-pitch pitcher, good curveball. Changeup has a tendency coming a little hot at times, and I'll get on that as the game goes on.
Did you know? High school teammates with Matt Harvey.
Yes. What a staff that was.
Said that a few times last season as Jesse Hahn burst onto the scene for the Padres. And when you're talking Jesse Hahn, you're talking curveball.
That was one of the scouting report points. The yacker, the deusa, which his dad calls it. Straight over the top. Good pitch. Confidence to throw it as well.
Strike 3 called to Will Venable, and he needs just 3 pitches to take down the Padre leadoff man. 1 away. Hahn, of course, will be relying on some other gentlemen this evening, and the Oakland defense looks as such. It's an easy man to identify. Brett Lowry over at third base. Zobrist, Burns, Reddick in the outfield. Muncy getting the start at first base. And things a little bit mixed up for Oakland. Generally have the DH in there. And we'll see how Bob Melvin kind of fills things out the next couple of days. First interleague game of the year for the A's tonight.
It's really incredible when you think about it. There always is that one odd team out that has to wait a little longer. And I've got a little nugget I want to send your way, your opinion about interleague play.
Okay.
Maybe change it up just a little bit.
Nothing in one to Corey Spangenberg.
How about doing this during interleague to make it interesting? When the A's or an American League team comes here, have the DH.
Sure.
Have the hometown National League crowd get a taste of what it's like. And then when we go to Oakland or Seattle, have the pitcher hit. To have the Seattle Mariner fans or the Oakland Athletic fans to see what it's like to have the pitcher hit in their yard.
Now, I'm not a fan of the DH, and I'm not a fan of interleague play, but I love that idea.
Just
Why
to give
not?
it a different look.
Yeah.
In your ballpark. After seeing the pitcher hit all those years, all that times here in this ballpark. Have the DH when the American League team comes here.
Spangenberg spoils that curveball. Still 1-2.
Just a thought.
Next time we see Rob Manfred, I would love for you to present your idea to him.
Mr. Manfred, Commissioner Manfred, is a very nice gentleman. I think he is going to have a hand on the pulse of things. And I think he's going to be great for the game of baseball.
Spangenberg swings and misses, and back-to-back strikeouts for Jesse Hahn here in the first.
Well, how about Jesse Hahn with the fastball? Four-seam fastball at 95 on the gun, and he goes up the ladder. Watch the glove of Stephen Vogt. Inside part of the plate, he goes up the ladder, right at the letters. Corey tries to get those hands in to get the sweet spot of the bat on that ball, and he sneaks it by him at 95.
So here's Justin Upton, who came oh so close to winning the game for the Padres yesterday afternoon against Los Angeles. Drove in the only 2 runs of the day against the Dodgers, had the RBI single in the 5th. And then, of course, in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs and the winning run at second base, it looked like he had hit one over the head of the Dodgers center fielder Jock Peterson, who decided to go back and make one of the catches of the year.
He turned twice. You see that?
Yeah.
He turned to his left and then took his eye off the ball to turn right, and then eventually making that grab and then kissing that outfield wall.
Lays off that breaking ball from Hahn.
It's worth another look. Look left, look right. Oh. You know, in the old Batman and Bugs Bunny cartoons, they have that kapow. Should be like a big kapow coming off of that. Off the wall.
Study in contrast for the 2 reactions, and he hits this one the same way out to center, but not quite as deep. Burns doesn't have to go all Jock Peterson on it. He makes the catch, and a 1-2-3 start for Jesse Hahn in his return.
About Will Myers. He's been placed on the 15-day disabled list. Another injury to that left wrist of the tendonitis. 2 days ago, he was taking batting practice and felt that soreness again. That's why he did not play yesterday. He met with a doctor today, a second opinion, getting an MRI on it, so should know more tomorrow. With the move, Corey Mazzoni has been recalled from El Paso and is in the bullpen today. But as soon as the results come back and he gets that second opinion, we will let you guys know an update on Will Myers and that wrist injury.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. And certainly disappointing news for Will Myers. Got all excited when he was activated off the disabled list recently. And now going to have to go back to the DL and try and get that wrist right.
No fun, especially for a player like Will Myers. We know the energy that he brings. We know that the teammates of Will Myers, they love to see him out there, give him a hard time, right, when he makes a play. All in good fun. And I think that rubs off on a lot of people.
Brett Lowry leading off the inning for Oakland. Snapped in 0 for 16 on Friday night in Anaheim. Did it with some flair, hit a homer. And ahead of Tyson Ross here, 3 balls in a strike. Lowry traded to Oakland from Toronto this offseason in the Josh Donaldson deal. And how about those Blue Jays?
Was it 11 in a row now? They've won 11 in a row. The Blue Jays, our friends to the north.
The Canadian team.
America's hat. Canada.
Lowry chops that one on the ground, and a long way to run for Spangenberg. Great job getting there, but no chance to cut down Lowry at first base. An infield single to lead it off here in the top of the second. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Lowry himself Canadian, by the way. Grew up in British Columbia.
Yes, that's Western Canada.
Yes, it is. Toronto to the east. That's where the Blue Jays are. Interesting dude, as you can guess.
No way that Corey was going to make that play, but just getting to that baseball, showing off the range. And he did follow through with the throw. It was a nice one hopper to first base accurately.
Max Muncy, the big first baseman, fouls the first pitch from Tyson Ross away. .212 average, couple homers in 29 games, and just 1 for his last 11.
We got some swinging A fans here in San Diego, along with some Padre fans enjoying a big league ball game.
Teams are playing 4 consecutive games against one another, as the entire National League West and American League West are locking horns. They got some of the most creative fans in baseball.
Next thing you know, you got a lampshade on your head. Thanks for playing. Good slider right there by Tyson Ross.
One of the things that people point to when you discuss Tyson Ross's blossoming as a San Diego Padre is the use of that slider. Throws it a lot more in a San Diego uniform than he did while with Oakland. Tyson spent 3 years with the A's, and his ERA was 5.33.
And mechanically speaking, working very hard with Darren Balsley each and every bullpen to clear that front side. Sometimes Tyson keeps that glove in front of his chest and doesn't release it to the left side of his body, enabling him to get up and out in front. He cuts himself off a little bit, doesn't get extended. And that's when he can get a little bit off at the release point and not throw strikes consistently.
Trying to throw a strike to Muncy, but first to check on Lowry, and the ball gets away from Alonso. Lowry down to second base, and an infield single and an error. And Oakland with a man in scoring position, nobody out here in the second.
Takes the double play out, and this was kind of like a. It's almost as if he just yanked that ball a little bit. He didn't really put a lot on it. Almost kind of aimed at that ball and just held on a little bit too long, out of the reach of yonder.
So the degree of difficulty goes up here in the second inning for Tyson Ross. Still a 2-strike count to Muncy, with the shortstop Simeon on deck, and then the pitcher spot for Oakland. The 1-2, and Max swings and misses at the curve. The slider from Tyson Ross, his first. Tyson Ross, of course, with all kind of East Bay roots. He grew up in the area, went to Cal Berkeley.
That's great. I love the old photos like that. Dreaming of being a big leaguer? Now he is a big leaguer.
And an all-star. Shortstop Simeon, another Cal guy. Golden Bear takes strike one. Also grew up in the Bay Area. He was acquired in that Jeff Samardzija trade this offseason with the White Sox. Decent offensive numbers, though we did discuss his troubles at shortstop this year. And Simeon hits that one on the ground, but foul.
You know, like Muncy, this is his first year in the big leagues, 4 years in the minor leagues prior to this year for Muncy. Now you look at, I look at experience when I look at, you know, certain teams that are kind of struggling. Prior to this year, you have to remember Simeon only had 300 major league at bats going into this year. So not a lot of big league time. A little bit with the White Sox in 13 and 14. So those two spots in the order, not a lot of big league action.
As you kind of continue to try and look for answers as to why the A's are struggling the way they are, certainly that would be part of the conversation. Shortstop, arguably one of the most important defensive positions, and you bring a guy up who's relatively green, and that can be a challenge.
Playing him to pull on the infield. Corey Spangenberg way over, almost directly behind second base, maybe about 6 or 8 feet. Now he's moving back.
Fastball misses high.
A huge hole up this way. But Corey is jockeying back and forth this way and then going back to his position. Just trying to keep that runner maybe a step closer.
Keeping him honest. Another 1-2, and he got him. Nice fastball on the outside corner, and back-to-back strikeouts for Tyson Ross after the leadoff single.
Muncy with the slider, the two-seam fastball coming back on the outside corner to get Simeon, and after the error of the runner at second base, reaching back and striking out 2 swinging A's. Swinging and missing A's, 1 looking.
Ross's reward is the pitcher Jesse Hahn, who went 2 for 22 last year in his first big league season with the Padres. And we said it, this is the first interleague game of the season for Oakland, and so this is the first at bat for an Athletics pitcher this year. Want to let you know that coming up next inning, our Fox Sports San Diego MLB insider Scott Miller will join us in the booth, and we'll talk to Scott about Buddy Black being let go by the Padres today and what it means for this team moving forward. On a little bit out in front there, 1-2.
He's got the good slider. When he keeps it down, Jesse, very effective pitch. If he leaves it up in the zone, it has a tendency to flatten out a little bit. As we take a look at Dave Roberts managing tonight's game for the Padres.
1-2 to Hahn, and he got him with another slider. After the infield single to lead off the inning, Tyson Ross strikes out the side.
About the timing. I don't think, there's a lot of us that are disappointed in the way we played so far this year. But with the way we played, we can all get better. I guess I think the front office felt like going in a different direction. Not quite sure, what it is, but like I said, we're going to get ready to play, and whoever our new manager is, we got to get ready to play for that guy.
Now is Matt Kemp before tonight's game, and he'll lead off the second inning here. No score between the Padres and the A's. Dave Roberts, the acting manager, A.J. Preller saying before batting practice today that the team would hope to have their interim manager for the rest of the season in place sometime the next 24 to 48 hours, so keep an eye out for that. Weird night tonight for these players.
It is different because we just heard it from Matt Kemp and getting some reaction before the game. They want to go out and they want to do the best they can each and every night. These guys cared. Buddy Black cared. He's highly regarded in this game of baseball. We all know that. And these guys, like one of the focus points of the keys to the game, right? Focus on the game at hand, what's going on tonight, and that's what they're doing.
9 years, one of the longest tenured managers in baseball coming into today, and National League Manager of the Year in 2010, and just an incredibly well-regarded baseball man, as they say. Yonder Alonso takes a strike from Hahn. Yonder singled in his first at bat yesterday. Got that start at third base over the weekend against the Dodgers, and now with Will Myers back on the disabled list, that experiment probably back on hold for a little while. That was one of the many challenges Buddy Black had this year, trying to mix and match offensive, defensive, lineup construction. Yonder on the ground to second base. Sogard and two away. Tonight's game is presented in HD by Sony 4K.
I was trying to think of analogies being through something like this, but other analogies that people can relate. And tell me if this is a fair analogy or not. Let's say you're in school, right? You're in grade school. And all of a sudden you come to school one day and you've got a substitute teacher. It's just somebody new. You've been used to this teacher for 3 months. And then all of a sudden somebody new comes in. Obviously not the case with Dave Roberts. They know Dave Roberts. But the students, it's a different day. It's a different day for them to adjust. It's a different day for the teacher to adjust. I guess to answer your question from before, Jesse, yes, it's a different day. It's a weird day because the guy you've been seeing for some players for years, for some guys only 2.5 months, it's a different day. It's an adjustment.
An adjustment for Derek Norris this season into the San Diego uniform, an all-star with the A's last year, and playing at an all-star level for the Padres here in the first few months of 2015. They were traded for one another, and a 3-0 count from Jesse Hahn to Derek Norris. R.J. Alvarez was the other piece that went to Oakland in that deal.
I like the arm of R.J. Alvarez. But in order to get something that you like, you have to give up something, and that's exactly what happened. Trying to pepper away that outside corner, Jesse Hahn to Norris. And Mike DeMuro looks like he's calling the high strike tonight.
For the moment, at least.
Yep.
Big swing by Norris, and now a full count after it was 3-0 from Hahn to Norris. One of the most productive catchers in baseball this season. Jan Hervis Solarte at third base tonight would be next. Jammed him, but Norris able to spoil it. Still 3-2.
Mentioned in our scouting report that Jesse Hahn is a 5-pitch pitcher. Fastball, 2-seamer, 4-seamer, curveball, changeup, slider. Looked like a short breaking ball there. A watchful eye. Justin Upton and Matt Kemp all over, watching Jesse Hahn's every move.
Not teammates with Hahn last year, like some of the Padres. Reaches for that one, and in the air to shallow right. Long run for Reddick, and he won't get there.
Hey, on the road traveling and want to watch your Padres? Well, subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and much, much more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
I heard they got a good deal going on, by the way.
Yeah.
Father's Day promo. Check it out.
Word on the street.
That is the word on the street. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming between Hahn and Norris. As Mudd said, they're trying to work him away. And he earns the walk.
Ooh.
Close pitch on the corner. Hahn doesn't get the call, and the Padres have their first base runner of the night with 2 outs here in the second.
That last pitch we saw, folks, is exactly where pitchers want to live and throw 8 out of 10 times. Knee high, outside corner. Jesse Hahn, get up on top, downward plane. Nice frame job there by Vogt, but he does not get the vote. That's a Chad. It's a hanging Chad there for undecided, so it's a ball. Can't count it as a strike.
Solarte at .251 average. He's driven in 26. On base 3 times in yesterday afternoon's game against Los Angeles. Two-out base runner for the Padres against Jesse Hahn.
Throw over to first base right here. Look at that shortened up lead.
Couple of nods from Hahn and then the toss. The A's, by the way, are having some fun with Stephen Vogt when it comes to the All-Star balloting. Vote for vote and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
I get it.
Yeah. He's deserving, even though he doesn't wear a Kansas City uniform. Solarte well struck, but pretty much right to the shortstop, Simeon. He has no problem with that one, and we're scoreless after 2. A's and Pods. Against Tyson Ross. I want to welcome in our Fox Sports San Diego MLB insider, Scott Miller. He's going to join us here in the booth as we talk about the news of the day, and that is, of course, that Buddy Black has been relieved of his duties as manager of this San Diego ball club. First, I guess, your thoughts on the move today.
Well, you know, we all know managers are hired to be fired, and they talk about that, and they talk about it often, but it's still, whenever a change is made, it's always a sobering day in the clubhouse, around the ballpark, especially if it's a well-liked manager like Buddy Black.
You know, Scotty, when I look at the last weekend's series against the Dodgers, that series could have swung either way.
Yeah.
Dodgers could have swept the Padres. Padres could have swept the Dodgers. And I don't want to say, I hate to think that it was going to be inevitable, but if they end up winning 2 out of 3, did you sense that something was up, or did you think that something was eventually going to happen, or what were your thoughts initially?
You know, Mud, I think somebody asked me if they would have won yesterday's game, would this have happened? And I honestly don't. I honestly think it still would have happened. I think when you get in baseball, when you get into a situation where you would hope an organization would not say we're close to firing a manager. If he loses today, he's out, because it's got to be on a longer time frame. You have to. The way that the game is, you can't be so emotional and judge on every game. And you're right. Friday night's game was a crusher, and it was an example of how the manager ends up taking the fall. But is it always his fault? You could certainly argue in any managerial firing that the guy should have done this, shouldn't have done this. But I look at, as you mentioned this weekend, Friday night's game, you know, Bud Black says before the game that Brandon Maurer and Joaquin Benoit are not available because he's had to ride them so hard for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Well, then the Padres come back. Derek Norris hits the 2-run homer. Now they have a 3-2 lead in the 8th, and he's trying to work around those 2 guys in the bullpen. He uses Dale Thayer. The game gets away. But my point in bringing that up is the reason those 2 guys weren't available, that hurt them Friday night. But beyond that, it was a trend. The reason they weren't available Friday night, they were tired from being worked so hard the previous 2 or 3 weeks, and the trickle-down effect from that is the starters weren't doing their job, and as a result, the bullpen guys had to be used, and it turns into it's never one thing. The starters aren't I know the starters are number 1 in baseball in quality starts right now, yet at the same time, the Padres have only won 4 games in a row as their longest streak, and they've only done that once.
Here's Josh Reddick with 1 out and a man on first, and another wild throw on a pickoff attempt from Tyson Ross. You were there in the dugout before batting practice when A.J. Preller spoke with the assembled media, and there were quite a few members of the media. Anything stand out to you in particular that A.J. Preller said today?
Well, Jesse, it's always, I think it's an odd situation. Usually a manager's fired, and then you have an interim. And the fact that Doc Roberts is managing tonight, and they're calling him an interim for 24 to 48 hours, and they're going to take that time to search for basically a permanent interim manager before they name somebody permanently, which probably won't be till this winter, all indications are. But that's odd. But A.J. Preller, I talked to him today, and he was trying to do things the right way, and he didn't go out and start talking to people, surveying them, saying, hey, I might make a change. What about you as the interim manager? He did not want to do that while Bud Black was employed. So that's why they're in the situation they are right now. He didn't want to do that, so they end up letting Buddy go today. And as such, from there, a noon game tomorrow plays into this too, because A.J. wanted to talk to some more people today, tonight, tomorrow. He said the new interim manager will be internal, whether it's Dave Roberts on a permanent basis, AAA manager Pat Murphy, who I'm told, I understand he's in town today. He'll obviously be interviewed as a potential to be the interim manager on a longer-term basis. But they need, A.J. wants some time today and tomorrow to make the decision. But tomorrow's game's at noon, so I think this could, the interim manager, the naming of the interim manager could take another day or 2.
What other names have you heard, Scott?
Well, A.J. said in the dugout today it's going to be somebody internal. Dave Roberts certainly is running tonight's ball game. Pat Murphy, as I say, is in town. And we'll talk. And he's the AAA El Paso manager. Jody Davis, a coach down there, is running the El Paso club tonight while Murphy is here. I think one way or another, Pat Murphy is going to end up on this staff. Whether he's the interim guy or not, we don't know yet. But Dave Roberts, any number of the internally speaking, Roberts, Murphy, Glenn Hoffman, third base coach, even Mark Kotze, the hitting coach. I think any of the guys in the dugout, depending on what A.J. Preller and his staff wants to do, and when they talk with these guys at length over the next 24 to 48 hours, what kind of a feel A.J. and his staff get from them.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Reddick with Sogard on second base and 1 out here in a scoreless game in the top of the third. Our Fox Sports San Diego MLB insider Scott Miller is with us. As we look forward on this thing, I think A.J. Preller, right, he made it pretty clear that whoever the interim manager is for the remainder of this season will be given a shot at becoming the full-time manager after the season.
He did, and it's always tricky because and that's always a dangerous situation for a club, because what you hope is the club takes off, gets to the playoffs, goes on a hot streak.
There's a base hit to left, and Sogard's being waved. Upton's got a pretty good arm, and he just beats the throw as Oakland takes a 1-0 lead here in the third.
And that's the perfect scenario, Jesse. If the club goes on a hot streak and you think, okay, we've got our guy, in the long run it can be dangerous because maybe for whatever reason this year's club was going to come together anyway, and maybe that's not going to be the long-term guy. But where that's concerned, I think whoever's the interim guy the rest of this year definitely will be given a shot. But I also think they're going to open it up, and unless this guy really impresses A.J. Preller and company this season, I think when we get to the winter, they're going to take a hard look at who's out there, as they should. One thing to remember now is they're looking internally for interim candidates, and that's really one of the few choices they have, because with the season underway, 65 games in, you look at across the game, some of the young guys who are up-and-comers, viewed as up-and-comers, and have already interviewed for some jobs and come really close to getting them. Torey Lovello, John Farrell's bench coach in Boston. Well, if ultimately you really like him and he's your guy, they're not going to go to Boston in the middle of this season and have Boston release their bench coach so the Padres can hire him. So that's why, same thing, Sandy Alomar Jr., former Padre, who's been a longtime coach now in Cleveland under Terry Francona. Same thing. They're not, if they decide he's the guy, it would be highly unusual. They'd go to Cleveland, interview him in the middle of a season, and then hire him and then disrupt the Indians coaching staff. So I think whoever is going to be the interim, that's why it's going to be an internal guy for now, and they'll evaluate and judge, and whoever it is, Dave Roberts, Pat Murphy, whatever, will have a chance. But unless the team really takes off and the guy is a superstar manager over these next 3 or 4 months, that's why I think he'll get the club to the end of the season, and then you'll look over the winter time at a couple of guys I mentioned, or guys like that, guys from other organizations. That's when you really can take your time and talk to everybody you want to talk with.
Zobrist is crossed up, and Tyson Ross fights back from 3-0, now a full count, with 1 run in and 1 out for Oakland.
One name that immediately jumped to a lot of people's mind today was Ron Washington, who's actually in the park tonight as Oakland, one of the coaches with Oakland. He's the former Texas manager. The reason it jumped to people's mind was because A.J. Preller came from Texas. There's a relationship there. You always look at general managers and who their relationships are with. But I'm told by a couple of sources very familiar with the Rangers and the workings there that there's no chance that A.J. will not go in that direction, that he'll go in a different direction. Obviously, A.J. isn't giving up too much information right now, but that's a name a lot of people are asking about. A couple of the veteran managers that are free agents right now. The Twins after last season, let Ron Gardenhire go. He's still being paid by the Twins this year, and again, he's a guy you would think if the Padres go to this winter and look around at who's out there, you would think they would speak with him. Gardenhire, as I say, he's being paid by the Twins yet this summer, and talking with people close to him, he was burnt out at the end of the Twins run, and he had been there for so long. He was third base coach.
Absolutely, under Tom Kelly.
Exactly, and then replaced Tom Kelly way back in 2000. So I'm told what he wanted to do was take the summer off. He's still being paid by the Twins, regroup, take a few deep breaths, and then manage next year. So I think you'll see Gardenhire's name surface this winter. Again, if the Padres don't end up naming an interim. Dusty Baker's out there, and he still wants to manage. He's an old-time name.
That was the third walk of the night issued by Tyson Ross, and now he's dealing with the catcher, Stephen Vogt. First and second, one out. The A's have a run here in the third inning. Our Fox Sports San Diego MLB insider Scott Miller is with us, talking about Buddy Black being fired earlier today by the Padres. Is there a particular kind of guy you think A.J. Preller is going to be going after? I mean, we always talk about the different personalities different managers have.
Yeah, you know, and A.J. talked a little bit about that, Jesse, in the dugout before the game. And he says not necessarily. Sometimes a fiery guy works. Sometimes a guy has quiet confidence, but he's a good leader. And he says he's open.
Rode into left field. That's going to get another run home for Oakland. Upton comes up firing to third. Zobrist goes in, and it's an RBI single for Stephen Vogt. He has now driven in 41 runs this season, and the A's have a 2-0 lead here in the third.
Well, let's check out what the pitch was. Was it a slider? It was a two-seamer up. And we know that when that two-seamer is up in the zone, it flattens out a little bit, and Vogt does a nice job as some of these A's hitters this inning taking that fastball the other way, getting that ball in quickly to keep that runner at first base, keep the double play in order.
Pitching coach Darren Balsley out to chat with Tyson Ross. And Scott, we appreciate you stopping by, shedding some more light on the situation today with Buddy Black, and obviously plenty to keep our eyes on as time goes forward.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the coming days and months. But as I say, it shakes up everybody in the park and in the organization when something like this happens. Also, I was thinking rough day for a rough year for former Mike Scioscia coaches. Ron Renicky got axed in Milwaukee, and today Buddy Black gets it.
Absolutely. All right, that's Scott Miller, our Fox Sports
Scotty,
San
thank
Diego
you very much.
MLB insider. Appreciate the inside info as Brett Lowry steps to the plate. A couple of runs for Oakland here in the third, still just one out. And Zobrist on third base and Vogt on first. Lowry first pitch swinging, little dribbler. Tyson's going to have a tough play, and he just got to put it in his pocket. 3-0 Oakland. Second infield single of the night for Lowry.
Well, very frustrating. Nothing you can do there. A good pitch down. The hitter tops it. Not hit hard enough to go to third base. Tyson Ross does the right thing, as you mentioned, Jesse, just to hold on to it. Ouch.
3-0 Oakland here in the third. And the seventh man to come to bat here in the inning will step in. First baseman Max Muncy, who struck out back in the second. And he takes a ugly hack at that one, 0-1. Tyson Ross struck out Billy Burns to open up this third inning, but a couple of singles, a walk, and a couple more singles have gotten 3 runs home for the A's. And now Ross looking for a second out here, or maybe even a double play against the left-handed hitting Muncy. 6 of the 8 position players in the lineup tonight for Oakland, either left-handed batters or switch hitters. And you know Billy Bean's A's, they love to play those splits. Outside, ball 2.
Well, just some of the pitches of Tyson Ross have been up. The slider's been up at times. The fastball's been up. And the left-handed hitters, as you mentioned, Jesse, are taking that ball the other way. Not trying to overswing and pull that pitch. And here's the 2-1 count we were talking about. Try to avoid the 2-1 count.
Runners take their leads off first and second, and that one's fouled off at the plate. 2-2. I appreciate Scott Miller stopping by to talk about the Bud Black situation. And it's a little bit different. Maybe you've got an acting manager tonight and then eventually an interim manager to be named maybe tomorrow or the next day, it sounds like. And I liked what A.J. Preller had to say about that. He said, out of respect to Bud Black, I didn't want to go around trying to fill this position while he was still the guy, and that sort of explains how we end up in this kind of purgatory spot tonight.
It's the right thing to do. No question about it.
And Dave Roberts says, professional as they come, he understands the bigger picture, and he said he was looking forward to chatting with A.J. Preller after the game tonight and kind of moving forward with the situation. Muncy takes 3-2.
So many times Tyson Ross has hit a swing at that last pitch that we just saw, but that's a good take by Muncy. That's the swing and miss, a wipeout slider.
Tyson came into tonight with 83 strikeouts, tied for the 8th most in the National League.
Well, one of the things that sticks out tonight, that's the 5th 3-ball count for Tyson Ross.
You see the pitch count as that one's popped out of play. Not just tonight either.
Ooh, 85, which leads Major League Baseball. Do you know, though, it's interesting because I was looking at the line of Tyson prior to tonight's game. The most runs that he's given up in a game has been 4. 4 or fewer.
And that was a long time ago.
Yes.
As Muncy lifts this one to left. That's the second out of the inning as Upton makes the catch. And it's time now, Mark, for our Mission Fed Ticket Hut winners. Mission Fed is hiding Padres prize packs all around town, so follow Fox Sports San Diego and Mission Fed on Twitter for your chance to win.
Nice. So it's kind of like a scavenger hunt?
That's it.
You just kind of keep your eyes out, keep your eyes open for some merchandise?
Well, you got to follow the 2 Twitter accounts, at Fox Sports SD and at Mission Fed.
Got it.
And they give out the hints, and then you got to go for it. It's like that old movie. It's a mad, 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 mad world. It's under the big W.
Yeah. Palm trees.
2 outs for Marcus Semien, and the shortstop takes strike 1 from Tyson Ross.
31st pitch of the inning for Tyson. It's a heavy workload.
8th man to bat in the inning. Semien now 0 for his last 6 with 4 strikeouts if you go back to yesterday in Anaheim. And he hits that one on a line to Amarista for the 3rd out of the inning. The A's, though, collect 3 runs. Tyson Ross threw a lot of pitches, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd.
As a player, you have to obviously realize the things that are going on. I think as players, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror, perform better, do the things we got to do, take care of the things obviously on the field. Just it's an obstacle that right now we have, and we have to overcome.
Welcome back. That was Yonder Alonso talking about the news today. I asked him after that, how do you take that all the obstacles about today, and leave that in the clubhouse and focus on today's game. He said, as baseball players, we are wired to deal with negativity. He goes, you go 3 for 10, you're a Hall of Famer, but in a baseball player's mind, all you do is focus on those 7 at-bats. They're wired to deal with that negativity and leave that behind. He said it shouldn't be an issue tonight.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. That's such a good point.
It is.
As Alexi Amarista leads off, maybe more than in any other sport, these guys know how to just block all that other stuff out.
It's ingrained in them.
Yeah.
And when you get to this level and you have some success at this level, even though it is a game of negativity, that's what makes players so tough and mentally tough. You have to be in this game of baseball. As Chris mentioned, 3 for 10. You're a basketball player, you shoot 3 for 10 from the field, guess what? Good luck. You tee up a golf ball on the tee, you hit 3 out of 10, you're really bad. And I know what that's all about. But you compare it to other sports, and that's why it's so negative. You have to be mentally tough and just erase that from your mind and the distractions, what's going on, and when there's a managerial change, to focus on what is at hand, and that's try to contribute tonight to win a ball game.
You see Dave Roberts looking on, and as the bench coach, right, he's next to Buddy Black all those nights, the last couple of seasons, and that's inside to Amarista for a leadoff walk, and he's sort of managing along with Buddy.
Yeah.
They've talked about that. He's sort of making those decisions with him, talking about all those scenarios with him, preparing for an opportunity.
Well, that's one thing that Buddy was so good at, was delegating and asking opinions of his coaches, because he really took to heart when they have those meetings. Hey, what do you think? Hey, what do you think? And then collectively come up with a decision. So, hey, now it's got to be a weird feeling. Dave's been in that position before when there's been an ejection, but now tonight it all lays on his lap.
Little bit different, certainly, and again, kind of stay tuned. It sounds like the next day, maybe 2, as they figure out who the manager is going to be for the remainder of this 2015 season. Down 3-0. Padres going to try and get themselves back in this one as Tyson Ross comes to the plate after the leadoff walk.
So many things that Dave Roberts can do right here, and we see it so many times. Tyson Ross, they can put on the butcher boy, they can put the runner in motion, chop down on the ball, obviously bunt him to get him over, which seems to be the play as Tyson pulls back.
These are the kinds of decisions I feel like we talk about so much when it comes to a manager, but how much of the responsibility for the guy is what takes place in the clubhouse, maybe between games, after games, and before games? So it's not just, hey, I'm going to hit and run here, I'm going to sacrifice here. It's how you sort of manage the personalities, how you sort of react after a tough loss or a big win. What percentage of the job is that for a big league manager?
I think you got to keep an even keel. Obviously, a manager is going to have everybody prepared on the same page. I think that as time goes on and you get familiar with the way your players are, you can't be too high and you can't be too low.
Nice bunt by Tyson Ross. Hahn throws him out, and that's the first sacrifice bunt of the season for Tyson Ross, who does have a couple of hits. Amarista in scoring position. Hey, Fox Sports San Diego is proud to welcome the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA to tonight Padres game as part of Fox Sports Young Fans Week. Fox Sports Fan Express buses will help take over 1,000 kids to games in partnership with our regional sports networks across the country.
Love it. Get the young kids out here, watch a big league ball game, get them interested in watching baseball, learning the game.
Runner in scoring position, top of the order, and Will Venable.
Talking about managers and different types and reacting and preparing. I think Joe Madden has a great rule. It might have been you that was talking about it. The 30-minute rule, like after a game, whether it's a win or a loss, 30 minutes to enjoy it, you start thinking about tomorrow. You have a loss, 30 minutes to think about it, reflect, hey, what happened? How could I have changed the outcome of the game? And then you forget about it. I kind of like that rule a lot.
When you're playing 162 games in
Yes.
180 whatever days, there's really no other way to do it, I don't know.
This football mentality in baseball doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. You're going to wind up in a straitjacket if that's the mentality you take. And when things are, believe me, I played on a lot of bad teams. One of the reasons was moi, okay? In all sincerity.
Yeah, no, you're terrible.
When you're going badly and you're beating yourself up, it just affects your next outing, and it takes a tough person to really bounce back. And when you see a guy, let's say you see a guy and things aren't going well after a game, and maybe he's talking with somebody and he's yucking it up a little bit. It's not that he doesn't care. It's tearing a guy up inside if he's not hitting well, if he's not throwing well. But you just can't dwell on it and let it eat it up inside of you. You're gonna go crazy.
2 balls and a strike to Will Venable. Jesse Hahn left that one over the plate, and it's fouled the other way. 2-2. Jesse Hahn's got that great curveball, and how about this differential? Left-handed hitters hitting 135 points higher than righties.
When I look at that, I look at the left-handed number at 314. Maybe the curveball, not placing it right, and that slow curveball, that curveball coming into the swing path of a left-hander, therefore higher numbers, where it's going down and away to a righty.
There is the curveball, and Will fouls it off at the plate.
So it just boils down to not the pitch, but it's the location of the pitch.
And a little bit up and down for Jesse Hahn this season.
That's the curveball to Will Venable that's up in the zone, and it didn't really have a lot of break to it.
One thing Jesse Hahn has done, and great job of, is keeping the ball in the yard. He's allowed just 3 home runs this season.
Ooh.
And that one goes behind Will Venable, or did it hit him? He started to go to first base.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard to judge.
Yeah. No signal from the home plate umpire, Mike DeMuro.
Maybe it got him on the pants. Maybe Will was just reacting. Will's got the baggy britches. Let's take a look.
Oh, yeah. It got him.
There you go. You can see the pants flap back right there.
And Dave Roberts, acting manager tonight, has initiated a challenge. So a review here, and it certainly looked like Will Venable was hit by the pitch. You mentioned it, the baggy pants, and to his betterment here in this situation. Should be a pretty quick review.
Yeah, you can clearly see the pants flap when that ball hit Will. Watch the pants and the thigh go back, and to the right. Back and to the right.
Nice job, District Attorney Garrison. Had a phenomenal challenge in yesterday's game, and unfortunately in a losing situation, that double play ball.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Second base.
They got it right, though, right? Because the throw drew him off the bag.
100%. It was a great challenge by the Padres, and some big-time attention to detail back in the video room. And it allowed the Padres at the time to have the winning run in scoring position. A little bit longer of a conversation maybe than expected between the umpires here and the replay crew in New York City. And maybe I'm crazy, but it looks pretty straightforward to me.
It does. Right there. Now, are they going to say when Will bent his leg that's what moved the pants?
Maybe.
Just trying to look at it from every angle here as Bob Melvin is waiting as well.
And, of course, the jersey and the pants, it's all part of the body,
right,
when it comes to being hit by a pitch. Might be the least painful hit by pitch in Will Venable's career, but it certainly looks like it was hit by a pitch. And he reacted immediately, which is sometimes a good sign of what took place.
Yep.
He started going right to first base. Let's see. Nope.
Oh. So they didn't have enough evidence.
I would imagine that's the case, but of course Major League Baseball doesn't announce these things until after the fact, so we'll wait and see.
See, I think this is one of the things that baseball should do for the fans. They should have a microphone on the field so where the crew chief can explain to the fans what exactly they saw and what exactly the ruling is.
Obviously. It's amazing that they don't. So a full count, and the pitch officially ruled to have gone behind Will Venable. 3-2 from Hahn, who has taken some warm-up tosses. Now it's stung out to center field. Burns is on the run. He's not going to get there. That's way better than a hit by pitch. Amarista comes in to score. RBI double for Will Venable.
Right down the middle, and Will Venable crushes that mistake. Even with the speed of Billy Burns out there in center field, that's got that good sound to it. Name and number towards the infield, not a chance. And the Padres are on the board. Good looking swing by William.
Boy, you got to love that. Corey Spangenberg now. And he takes a curve outside. All those little things over the course of 162 games that can go against you or for you, those little quirky breaks. Padres challenged to try and get Will Venable to first base. They lose the challenge, and he comes right back with an RBI double instead. Spangy 0 for 1, but as you see, red hot in the last week or so, and he hits this one hard. But over to Muncy at first base. He takes it himself as Venable goes to third and 2 away. As Justin Upton comes to the plate, it's time now for the T-Mobile Game Changer. And yeah, he's been a game changer all season, and in his career against Oakland, changing a lot of games.
There are just some teams that guys just go off against, and then there are the opposites to where teams just own certain players. But Justin Upton, always a guy who's a threat when he comes up the plate. Sure, the swings and misses are going to be there, but guys who's always in scoring position at the plate.
Flew out to center field his first time up, put a pretty good charge into one. But Billy Burns was able to go and retrieve it. Oakland scored their runs in the top half of this inning. Padres have answered with one. And Upton able to hold off on that curve from Jesse Hahn. Fastball, and Upton pops it up to shallow right. Sogard, the second baseman, drifting, catching, and that's the third out of the inning. The Padres, though, get on the board. For a moment at least, it looked like Will Venable was going to first base on a hit by pitch. It's ruled that he wasn't hit. And on the next pitch, a double to center field to bring home Alexi Amarista. And the Pods are on the board. Baseball brought to you by Saquon Casino, only 25 miles from Petco Park. By Jack in the Box, try the new Double Jack today only at Jack in the Box. And by Jerome's, proud sponsor of the best seats in the house. Jesse Hahn leading off against Tyson Ross. 3-1 Oakland as we begin the 4th inning. Hahn struck out his first time up and thought about trying to bunt his way on there, but pulls back and takes the pitch. The former A pitching to the former Padre, both starting tonight.
Well, a good way for Tyson Ross to start off this inning. 9-1-2. Hopefully he can find that release point and quickly have a nice 4th inning.
We heard from the replay official, by the way, in between innings. The call on the hit by pitch or not hit by pitch,
right,
it stands. It was not confirmed, so you were right. They didn't see enough to change the call on the field.
Got it.
3-1 to Jesse Hahn is swung on and missed. That's strike 3. All right. So 5th strikeout of the night, and the 2nd time that Ross has gotten Hahn.
Now time for the tools of the trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks. Hey, Billy Burns in center field at the Coliseum. He's playing over towards right center field. Look at how far he's got to go. 86.5 feet. He lays out and makes a great catch. That's covering some ground right there.
Made a couple of great catches in that game. That was just one of them.
What in the Jimmy Edmonds is going on out there?
Steve Finley.
Nice call.
Yeah.
I still think the Jim Edmonds catch when he was an Angel in those tired Angel uniforms.
The Disney uniforms?
In Kansas City, I believe it was.
Just going straight back.
I still think that's the best catch ever made in baseball. Mark Sweeney joins us down by the Padre dugout. Mark Sweeney, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Welcome back, Mud.
Thank you, my friend. And what do you think about that catch? I'm talking about Jimmy Edmonds.
Yeah, Jimmy Edmonds in Kansas City, I thought was the best catch. I mean, it just going over the top and outstretched.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat that. I think Gary, Jr., I forget. Gary Matthews Jr., I thought, in Texas was one of the best ones, too.
Nice job by Solarte over at 3rd and 2 away for Ross here in the 4th. All right. Mark Sweeney, the managerial change. I know you didn't go through this in season as a player, but it's got to feel like a little bit of a different night, at least when they show up to the ballpark for these Padres.
Jesse, very tough. And as from the player's perspective, it really is. Look yourself in the mirror and realize that you had a part of that. And why I say that is that you have to be better individually, collectively, whatever you guys have to do. But for Bud Black, a good baseball man, to lose his job, it's got to be heart-wrenching in that locker room. And it's time to reflect on what you can do better moving forward.
Sogard's been on base a couple of times tonight. Singled, stole a base, and scored his last time up. He walked in the 1st inning as well. Been getting on base at a good clip for the Athletics. Arizona State guy who played for Pat Murphy with the Sun Devils. Chris Sabo's not impressed.
A good call.
Yeah.
Go 1990 Cincinnati Reds.
Nasty boys.
Yeah, wire to wire. Sogard, he can hit the double with the best of them. He's had some years where he's hit 20-plus doubles. And with that said, the outfield playing him to go the other way. Nice. 2-seam fastball from Tyson Ross.
And who did the Reds beat in that World Series? The Oakland A's.
The Oakland Athletics.
Full circle.
There's a spare.
Makes sense. Got to have him handy. Nice pitch from Tyson Ross and a nice inning. Good job by Derek Norris holding on. And 6 strikeouts for Tyson through 4. 3-1 A's.
It's obviously the nature of the position of being a manager in a major league club. You're always going to face this. Bud's one of the best baseball minds I've ever been around. Great communicator, great teacher, great in the dugout, and I'm sure his phone's already ringing. He'll get another opportunity, and he's terrific.
Angels manager Mike Scioscia, who won a World Series in 2002 with Buddy Black as his pitching coach. And obviously such a tight-knit fraternity, major league managers. But as Scioscia kind of alluded to there, look, they get it. Mud said it earlier.
Yep.
You're hired to be fired most times, as Matt Kemp takes strike one from Jesse Hahn.
Not too many Bobby Coxes out there.
No. Well, same thing for players, right? I mean, at the end of the day, so few guys get to walk away and say, hey, that's it. I'm going out on my terms.
Right.
You get hurt. You get phased out. You get released. Part of the business. Matt Kemp flew to center field his first time out, and Hahn's ahead of him here, 0-2. Big curve, big swing, and a miss. Third strikeout for Jesse Hahn, and his first since the first inning of this game, one away.
Hey, Mark Sweeney, I'll bet you'd win a lot of drinks in a bar if you went up to somebody and said, hey, you know what? Bobby Cox was fired as manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, right?
Yeah, I think so, too. You don't remember him as that because of the success he had in Atlanta. And I think Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox had a lot to do with that.
Yeah. Hey, Joe Torre.
2 stints before getting to the Yankees.
Right, with the Cardinals and the Braves, right?
On the Mets, 3.
And the Mets.
That one's hit in the air to center. No problem. It appears for Burns, and on the warning track, he makes the catch. Alonso hit it well, but 2 away. Yeah, before you become a legend,
you have to take the fall.
That's it. Derek Norris. Three seasons with Oakland for Derek Norris. Really coming into his own as a Padre. Not to overlook his all-star season last year. A's had a weird 2014. Kind of looked like they had the whole thing put together. A lot of trades made over the course of the summer. Then some injuries caught up with them. And then they ran into the Kansas City Royals in that wild card game. Bob Melvin with one of the most interesting managerial positions in baseball. The setup in Oakland is unique. General manager Billy Beane very involved on a day-to-day basis. You know, Brad Pitt. Norris with a big swing, a foul ball, 2-1.
I look at Bob Melvin, and he and I were teammates with the Giants and under Roger Craig, and I see a lot of Roger Craig in Bob Melvin, the way he manages. And as you take a look at this, was a stat you were talking about earlier, Jesse, through 65 games. How do you figure this out for the Oakland Athletics? The run differential. Runs per game down a run. Home runs way down.
They've added Jesse Hahn, who has been let down by his defense plenty this year. So far, it's been pretty clean behind him, and he's allowed just the 1 hit. But opponents have reached 11 times against Jesse Hahn this year on errors. That's a huge number considering this is his 12th start of the year. If my math is right,
that's 3 1/3 innings of free runners.
Wow.
3 2/3. Right?
Norris takes strike 3 call. 4th strikeout for Jesse Hahn, 2nd this inning, and a 1-2-3 4th for the former Padre. Oakland on top 3-1.
on this date that Matt Kemp would have more than 2 home runs, and we would have found more of a set infield, and not having a rotating infield, and we would hope that our stars would be able to get us to the 8th inning more consistent. But I believe in the group. I think the message to the team and the message to the players that we talked about, just now here a little while ago, is I still believe in this club a lot. I think a lot of the people in that room still believe in the team, and I think we're hoping to see better baseball here in the next month.
That was A.J. Preller before batting practice this afternoon. Bud Black relieved of his duties as manager of the ball club, and Preller saying, "Hey, we've got the guys, and we're trying to win still in 2015."
And the players still believe in themselves as well. And I think that's where it's most important. Don't you agree, Mark Sweeney?
I do, and I think when you come down to it, and that's why I said you look yourself in the mirror, but the talent level that's here, I think everyone has to kick themselves back and realize in the offseason when they went out and acquired all this talent, if you put that all together, this is a very talented team.
Reddick chases a high fastball from Tyson Ross, 0-2.
Are there deficiencies, guys? Yes. I mean, I think everyone across baseball has deficiencies. They're weaknesses of every club, and that's the reason why you're seeing a lot of parity in the game of baseball.
Tyson tries to get Reddick to go up the ladder. He lays off. The Oakland right fielder, 1 for 2, RBI single his last time up. He's also scored one of the 3 Oakland runs. Try to finish him off with a slider. He lays off, 2-2. Reddick generally the cleanup hitter for the A's, but with no DH tonight. Billy Butler out of the lineup, and Reddick moved up to the 3-hole with Zobrist batting in the 4 spot. 2-2 is a weak grounder to the left side. Solarte was all alone on that side of the infield, and a nice job by Jan Hervis coming in and making the play. 1 out here in the 5th.
Keeping that leader hitter off base is huge for any pitcher, any team. And let's check out Solarte. How does he have to go about this? He charges, catches that ball on his left side, and then on the run, a P-rod over to first base, but he rounds it to where he catches that ball on the side rather than in front of him. And throwing off balance. A nice stretch by Yonder Alonso.
Just his 9th start of the season at third base. So 1 out for Zobrist, who has twice walked against Tyson Ross. The bases on balls have been a theme this year for Padre pitchers. Trying to keep those numbers down best they can. Talking earlier about the runs allowed by Tyson this season and fewer than 4.
Yeah, that was back in April. I think it was April 28th against the Astros.
8 straight starts of 3 or fewer runs allowed. So we talk about, hey, these guys aren't pitching deep into games, they're not doing this, but I mean, that's a pretty impressive stretch of outings for Tyson Ross. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Josh Reddick grounded out to third. Zobrist draws his 3rd walk of the night.
Well,
so Reddick, go ahead.
Mark Sweeney down by the dugout. What did you see from your angle?
Well, you see Solarte, a do-or-die play, but it rattles in his glove. He doesn't have the opportunity on that transfer. He looks down, but you don't have the opportunity to get the seams of the baseball. What a great play. And you can see it just rattling in and on the move. And we've seen Solarte, especially on the left side, be very aggressive. Made some nice defensive plays on that side.
Being asked to play 3rd, 2nd, 1st. In a pinch, and we saw it last year, he can play a corner outfield spot as well. As the catcher Vogt stands in. He had to feel relieved to come up with that RBI single. Last time out, he was 0 for 11 in the series against the Angels, and right now just 4 for his last 40. Hits this one through for a base hit to right field. Now he's 5 for his last 41. Zobrist makes it all the way to third base. And Oakland with runners on the corners, 1 away here in the 5th. 2 hits and 3 at-bats tonight for Stephen Vogt.
Well, when we look at this play, Yonder Alonso goes off the bat. I don't know whether he's reacting like I should have went after that one. After that second look, I really don't think he had a chance at that. Mark Sweeney down by your spot. What do you think?
Yeah, very difficult to tell from this angle. And when you're as a first baseman coming off the bag, sometimes you won't be too aggressive because you want to guard that line. And it looked like Yonder wasn't trying to be forceful getting off that bag and trying to close that gap.
Yeah, I don't really think he would have had that ball. As we take the second look, that big hop was really to his extreme right. So Darren Balsley, the pitching coach for the Padres, out to have a chat. There's been a handful of pitches where Tyson's been up in the zone. And, that's one of those situations where a pitching coach kind of plays a cheerleader. Goes out and says, hey, you made a good pitch. You got a ground ball. Just happen to find a hole. Just stay right there. Try to work down to the zone. Try to work for another ground ball.
You know what I would love to see? One of our stat guys should create this one. We're always inventing new stats, right? I don't know what to call it, but the at-bat after the pitching coach goes out for the Padres, the result of that at-bat, because it's anecdotal, but to me it seems like every time Darren Balsley goes out there, there's a good result immediately afterwards.
Well, I was taught a long time ago the biggest compliment you can pay to your pitching coach is after a visit is to throw a strike. It didn't happen right there. Tyson Ross bounced a slider. But think of it as a pitching coach. You go out and visit your guy, he fires a strike. It's going to be a pretty good feeling, don't you think?
Yeah. Or at least get the out.
Let's make up that stat.
Okay.
Let's get on it.
You got to get Fryer figures on that. Great Twitter account. Tries to hold up. Could not. 1-1. What would you call it? Result
successful
after visit.
visits.
Okay, successful.
Or no, what did you say?
Result after visit.
Result after visit. RAV. What's his rave?
Yeah.
Pitching nice going, Agler.
Yeah. Line scores. Ball and a strike to Brett Lowry, who has a couple of infield singles, and that's a traditional base hit to center field. Hit well, and Oakland will add another run as Zobrist crosses the plate.
That ball was hitting really well. He was really on that pitch. And by the sound and by the swing, Tyson just catching too much of the plate. High slider, it looked like. 1-1 slider.
Lowry now 3 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. Bottom of the order now for the Athletics. The first baseman Muncy 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. And there's ball 1 as Nick Vincent starts to get going in the bullpen. Tyson Ross's pitch count certainly of note. Muncy has played first base, third base, and right field. Last season in the Oakland organization, he spent the entire season in Double-A. Earned his way onto the roster during spring training this year. In a little bit of a funk right now as he takes strike 2. You see that he's 0 for 2 tonight. Muncy now 1 for his last 13.
Well, the next pitch for Tyson will be number 99. Check that. That was 100. I stand corrected. 100 pitches for Tyson Ross. And the workload in the third inning, my goodness.
Ross hoping to get out of the fifth without any further damage. Padres trailing by 3 here in the fifth. And that's ball 3. Reggie in the house.
Oh, that's going back. The old school.
It's a great
jerseys, did they?
Oh. Pirates and the A's in the 70s, the Orioles. All those bright colors they mixed and matched. 3-2, and Muncy on the ground to first. Alonso thought about going to second to try and start a double play. Couldn't get the ball out of his mitt. Steps on the bag. That's the second out, the sure out. And that gets the shortstop Semien to the plate with 2 away.
Jess, you make a good point there. You've got the sure out at first base. When in doubt, get the out. And that's exactly what Yonder did. I don't know whether he couldn't create a throwing lane or if he couldn't get out of his glove. Let's take a look. He spins towards his glove hand side. I think maybe he just didn't feel comfortable with the throwing lane, possibly.
Yeah, because you're right. He got it out of his glove pretty easily. They're going to offer an intentional pass to Semien with Hahn on deck. Jesse 0 for 2 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Little National League managing from Dave Roberts.
Yeah, Jesse, you think about the managing, and for Dave Roberts tonight, looks like Tyson Ross's spot is up third, so that Jesse Hahn and having the pitcher hitting is very important, but that decision making and how far you let Tyson Ross go in this game.
Yeah, you know, he's a horse. We all know that, guys, and you have to monitor pitch counts, but Tyson's been one of those guys that can go out there and pitch as many as 115. He did that earlier in the year. So you're talking around 107 to 115 pitches that he's good for. So you get out of this inning, leave it at 4-1, and pinch hit for Ross next half inning.
That intentional walk, the 5th of the night for Ross. That ties his season high as he goes to work against the opposing pitcher with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Vogt, Laurie, and Semien. Ball and a strike. As we check out the Cholula flamethrower from Tyson Ross.
Mark Sweeney, we've got 94. What's that?
That's hot sauce.
Pair it with a filthy slider. And you got yourself a big league pitcher.
Yeah, 94 with movement location can be very nasty.
On take, strike 2.
Hey, subtracting a little bit at 90. Hey, not a bad idea. And Mark Sweeney, as a hitter with a fastball, there's so many different pitches with the fastball, right? Because they can add and subtract.
Yeah, and I think that's the benefit of a pitcher when he knows how to pitch, is trying to change speeds with that.
Goes down and grounds it back to Ross, who's just going to take it all the way to the bag himself. And that's probably the end of the night for Tyson Ross, but he gets out of it with limited damage here in the 5th. Oakland up 4-1.
Big on character. He was very big on teaching them how to become good human beings. You know, he loved all the sports and stuff, but he always said, I want to teach them how to be great human beings, for how to carry on throughout life, how to have good character.
All right, tomorrow, as you know, marks the 1-year anniversary of the untimely death of Tony Gwynn. SD Live on Fox Sports San Diego will air an inspirational edition of the show as we fondly look back at Tony's incredible career. We remember his memorable life off the diamond and celebrate the reason he is known as Mr. Padre. That's tomorrow night after the postgame.
Boy, the ripple effect that he had, not only on the baseball diamond, but in our community of San Diego and in the baseball world. It's just hard to really imagine that he's not with us anymore, even after a year. My goodness.
1 year ago tomorrow. Tyson Ross has completed 5 innings. Pitcher spot due up third here in the bottom of the 5th, with the A's on top of the Padres 4-1. And the hot swinging Yangervis Solarte at the plate. Lined out to shortstop his first time up against Jesse Hahn, who has allowed a single hit tonight in his first 4 innings. An RBI double by Will Venable in the 3rd.
A lot of pitches tonight thrown by Tyson Ross up in the zone. He had 8 3-ball counts. A total of 110 pitches tonight, and 2 times heavy workload, 2 innings, 30 or more pitches.
Solarte wraps that one right back to Hahn, and that's 1 out. We mentioned that he's allowed just the 1 hit so far tonight. We bring you a memorable moment in Padre history, brought to you by Geico. And June 14th of last year, almost exactly 1 year ago, and just 2 hours from his home in Connecticut, Jesse Hahn made his 2nd career start, and against the Mets he allowed just 1 hit. In 6 innings of work, he struck out 7 Metropolitans as the Padres went on to a 5-0 victory at Citi Field.
Well, Mark Sweeney, as we take a look at Jesse Hahn, the one pitch I want to focus on is that curveball. And you know what? It seems like that pitch is, I don't want to say it's gone by the wayside, but you really don't see that true 12-6 hammer much anymore.
No, you don't. And I think if you look at that curveball, it's really one of those pitches that you want to try to eliminate unless you get 2 strikes.
Hahn loses track of that one, and Little Ninja going to get a big bruise.
Yeah, that was a curveball. The pitch we were just talking about out of the hand of Jesse Hahn. Let's watch it out of the hand. Get up on top, the rotation. And sometimes a pitcher will do that. He'll yank it on the inside part, especially to a left-handed hitter.
So Amarista aboard for the 2nd time tonight. Hit by a pitch here. He walked his first time up. And we'll have a pinch hitter for the pitcher, Tyson Ross. Will Middlebrooks. Will pinch hit in the 11th inning yesterday against the Dodgers. As he takes the first pitch fastball from Jesse Hahn, 0-1. Eight homers, 2nd on the team to Justin Upton. Dave Roberts going to the bench here in the bottom of the 5th, and he'll go to the bullpen in the top of the 6th. Looks like it'll be Nick Vincent. First of 4 between these 2 teams. Tomorrow at 12:40, first pitch here at Petco Park, as Andrew Kashner takes on the lefty Scott Kazmir. And then the scene shifts to the O.Co Coliseum in Oakland. Little roller to 3rd. Lowry goes to 2nd for 1. That'll be it. Fielder's choice to away. So you consider this 1 series or 2? 4 games, 2 here and 2 there. I've got a strong opinion. I'll just warn you now.
Okay. I hate the 2-game series. Dislike. Hate's a strong word.
Sure.
I hate to use hate. I'm going to say it's a 4-game series.
I agree. And people would say, what are you talking about? They're playing in 2 different ballparks. I say, hey, the World Series is one series.
Correct.
They'll play in 2 different ballparks.
I concur.
Ground ball and a nice job at first base by Muncy. I don't know what he's thinking there, though, as it gets away. Both runners will advance as Hahn backs it up. Another Oakland error. And another with Jesse Hahn on the hill.
Got to take advantage of the miscue. Now 2 runners in scoring position. Let's take a look off the bat. A backhand hop. He's got plenty of time. He rushes it. Still not in the picture is Will Venable. I think he had plenty of time. Jesse Hahn was on his way. Collect your feet. Even if it's from your knees, show him the baseball. Give him a good view and nice underhand firm toss on the run. As soon as that ball was hit, Hahn was going over to cover first base. Bad throw. Padres got to take advantage of that.
Well, you said it exactly right. He had more than enough time to make the play. And he rushed it. And when I said another Oakland error, that's why. Simeon right there is responsible for a bunch of them, but Muncy takes one here, and that keeps the inning going for the Padres.
Boy,
second and third.
7 error difference between the Oakland Athletics and the Texas Rangers.
So a bonus opportunity for Corey Spangenberg. 0 for 2 tonight, but he's got a hit in each of his last 6 starts. And a nice chance to try and keep that streak alive and close the gap between the Padres and the A's. Ugly moment for the Oakland defense. Muncy again. This time makes the play, and the side is retired. Good recovery by the Athletics first baseman. 4-1 Oakland after 5. Tyson Ross started for the Padres, and the Oakland A's struck first in the 3rd inning. They collected 3 runs on 4 hits, RBI singles from Reddick, Vogt, and Brett Lawrie, although the infield single didn't go more than 45 or 50 feet. Looked like Will Venable was hit by a pitch. On review, though, they said he was not. That kept his at-bat going, and he followed it on the very next pitch with this RBI double. The only hit of the night so far by the Padres. Alexi Amarista had walked. He comes on to score. The A's would add another, and Oakland with a 4-1 lead as we begin the 6th inning. Nice return to Petco Park for Jesse Hahn.
Yeah, he's got the fastball working. He's touched the fastball to 95. We saw that early on, and also the curveball is working as well.
Nick Vincent on for the 9th time this season at the big league level. The pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford.
Last time out for Nick was yesterday against the Dodgers. A 3rd of an inning, he struck out that Dodger. I like to bring those splits down.
Came on to get the final out in the top of the 12th yesterday afternoon. And he delivers a fastball outside to Billy Burns.
Been kind of a tough year for Nick, up and down. Nobody likes to be on the shuttle. Third stint with the Padres as Tyson Ross sits back after his outing tonight, going 5 innings.
Leadoff man Burns takes a called strike, 1-1. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout for Burns tonight. Been a little bit of a catalyst at the top of the order for the Athletics and a recent 12-game hitting streak, and he hooks that one down the right field line, but foul. Mark Sweeney, we've talked a lot in recent days about the use of the Padre bullpen. That's going to continue tonight.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to continue, and this is big for Nick Vincent. I mean, just keeping him there, and I think this bullpen definitely has to have that offense an opportunity to come back in this ballgame.
Acting manager on the left and hitting coach Mark Kotze on the right. 1-2 to Burns, and strike 3 called. Nice job by Nick Vincent coming out of the bullpen to strike out Billy Burns. He got Howie Kendrick in the 12th last night, so 2 straight strikeouts.
Looks like Billy Burns had a wrinkle in his mind. Looks like a 2-seam fastball, outer third, coming at you. Frozen pizza.
They're not booing in Oakland. They're saying boo Burns. Boo Burns.
Yeah.
Old Simpsons joke. Eric Sogard. Singleton scored back in the 3rd. Has also stolen a base tonight as he peeks over at first. And he takes a fastball strike from Vincent.
Nick's not going to light up the radar guns. It's all about location and movement from the right-hander from Ramona. Slider. Cutter. Very rare changeup. There's a changeup there. It's just I mentioned it at 83.
So you suggested earlier in the night a little bit of an advantage. Derek Norris maybe knowing some of the tendencies of his former teammates when he's calling the game. Sogard, one of the few that's been around with the A's the last couple of years. Plenty of roster churn for this Oakland club.
Look out. Looks like it went right into the Athletics dugout.
No more. White towel.
Coming in hot.
I would wear a glove at all times.
Yeah.
Got him to chase, but he fouls it back our way. Still 2-2.
Jesse, I don't think you would have gloved that one either. That was coming in hot.
That's hot sauce there.
That was hot sauce.
A little Cholula in the dugout. Mention that these two teams will continue the 4-game series in Oakland on Wednesday and Thursday. And the Padres will go to Phoenix and then right back to the Bay Area for a series against the Giants. As Nick Vincent gets his 3rd straight strikeout, he punches out Burns and Sogard here in the 6th.
And Sogard is so out after that pitch.
Time now for the Fan Diego fans of the game.
Oh, look at it. We got major cuteness going on right here. Love the youngsters enjoying a big league ball game. Park at the Park, great venue. Bring a blanket, bring a picnic basket. Have a good old time.
Two outs, nobody aboard for Josh Reddick. And he fouls the first pitch off. 0-1. Tough play for Jackie. Tyson Ross, 5 innings tonight. 4 runs on 7 hits. He walked 5, struck out 6, and threw 110 pitches.
Only the 2nd time this year he's given up 4 runs. Every other start fewer than 4. You're not going to feel 100% every time out. You make 33 starts, you maybe feel, great. 10, 11 maybe. Try to work through the other ones. Maybe you find that groove when you get out there, but in the bullpen, it's flip a coin sometimes.
Reddick swings through that one, actually tips it into the mid of Norris, 1-2. Nick Vincent came into the game last night for the first time since his most recent recall from AAA. Struck out the only man he faced. He's punched out the first 2 here in the 6th, and he's got Reddick 1-2. Just missing.
Where did that miss? This is a nice cut fastball right at the knees, outside corner.
Good pitch.
Yep.
Two to Reddick, and he hits it in the air to center. Venable is there. He makes the catch in a really nice 1-2-3 inning for Nick Vincent here in the 6th. We go to the bottom half. Padres down 3.
I feel awful. He's a really good friend. That's all I could tell you, man. I felt really badly about it. And, we'll get in touch. He and I giggle when we talk, so I need to get in touch. I wrote to him and just told him I want to talk to him whenever he feels comfortable with it. But he's a great guy, and he does a great job.
Cubs manager Joe Maddon, who was the bench coach when Bud Black was the pitching coach under Mike Scioscia in Anaheim. They won a World Series together in 2002. And as you can see there, a really strong friendship and relationship between Maddon and Black. Padres back to work against Jesse Hahn here in the bottom of the 6th. Justin Upton looks at a curveball down. 1-1.
How about Jesse Hahn starting out this at-bat as the Padres go around for the 3rd time? First pitch slider, going to the curveball, now 1-1, but throwing that short breaking ball early in the at-bat for a strike, which is key.
There's a fastball, and Upton fouls it away. 1-2. Last start for Jesse Hahn was his shortest of the season. That was against the Rangers on Wednesday. Went just 3 2/3 in it. He hit 3 batters. Had some trouble with the control. No such issues tonight as Bob Melvin watches the 25-year-old working on a 1-hit effort so far.
Well, Mark Sweeney's still down by the dugout. You made an interesting point a couple innings ago, Mark, about eliminating a pitch, that being the curveball tonight for Jesse Hahn. Now, it'd be interesting to see how many, if thrown, taken, are legitimately strikes.
Yeah, and I think, Mark, if you look at this at bat against Justin Upton, he would rather have that fastball that he fouled off put in play, and that's what you have to try to do, especially with a guy that has an out pitch. You can't sit on that. You just have to be reactionary, and if it is an elevated curveball at times, you have to capitalize on those moments. But how you defend it is trying to hit off the fastball.
And tried to throw a slider that last pitch there.
Upton with a good eye, and now the 2-2 to Justin is a fastball hit hard over to third. Lowry up and spinning and throwing and getting it. A's not known for their defense, but a nice effort there at the hot corner.
And giving some kudos over to his first baseman for picking him up. I think he had more time to gather himself, but he rushed that throw, and Muncy picking up the third baseman. Nice grab by Muncy.
Just put his head down and stuck the glove out there. Mark Sweeney, when a team sort of develops a reputation for struggling defensively, and it's an earned reputation, obviously, with all the errors, can that get in their heads when they're out there and start rushing things maybe they shouldn't?
Jesse, like anything else, we always focus on a hitter's slump, but there's slumps all over baseball. You know, you think about the pitching staffs, but also defensively, yes, to answer your question, it definitely gets in your head.
Kemp waves at that one.
Perfect example of what Mark Sweeney was just talking about, the curveball. If taken, that would have been way outside for a ball. The curveball from Jesse Hahn.
It's nasty. We saw it last season. Lays off that time, 1-2.
Good take there.
Kemp with a fly out and a strikeout tonight. And again lays off as Hahn tries to get him to chase. 2-2. Jesse Hahn was one of the neat stories for the Padres last year. Really emerged during spring training. Showed a lot. Didn't make the opening day roster, but when opportunity knocked, he answered the door.
Oh, Vogt got that foul tip. Not sure where it got him, but oh. So you want to be a catcher.
Two to Kemp, and ball 3. Hahn has issued only one free pass tonight as Kemp hits that one to third. Another tough opportunity for Lowry, but he backs up, makes the throw, 2 away. Time for In the Driver's Seat, brought to you by Kia. Jesse Hahn certainly in the driver's seat here so far tonight.
Yeah, Jesse Hahn sniffing the tears. 5 2/3. 1 hit, 1 run. Keeping him off balance. He's throwing the curveball, the fastball, and he's incorporating this little slider earlier in the at-bat. We saw that to Justin Upton this inning.
I said just the 1 walk to Amarista, but Derek Norris had 1 as well. So 2 for Hahn, but nonetheless, he has been very good. Yonder Alonso takes ball 1. Change up that time. A lot of off speed from Jesse Hahn. The change, the curve, a little bit of slider. And there's a fastball, but it misses away.
Early on, Jesse was 95 with the heater. That one was 93. Had a little bit of run to it as well. Arm side run to it away from the left-handed hitter Alonso.
Too far away. And now Yonder ahead of the count. And now Yonder in the driver's seat as that changeup missed low. Gets a call there. 3-1.
Doesn't have to be. See, that's what you would yell from the dugout if you weren't pitching. Bench jockeying, it's called, back in the day.
So
3-0, right? That pitch was off the plate, maybe about 1.5 feet. Doesn't have to be.
Hits that one into left center field. Zobrist coming over, and he makes a running catch. Jesse Hahn, another good inning. Padres go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 6th.
Just inform them of the decision, obviously face to face, and I think probably the biggest thing was just to let them know that, I wasn't not looking to put blame on anybody. I definitely was not looking to blame Buddy, and I don't blame the players. I think a lot of times I look myself in the mirror. I think ultimately, I'm the guy that is part of and a big part of picking the players and picking the coaching staff and the manager. And let them know though that I still think we have a lot of good baseball left to be played.
A.J. Preller before the game earlier today discussing the decision. Bud Black out. Dave Roberts there, the acting manager, and the Padres expected to name their interim manager for the remainder of this season coming up in the next day or maybe two. And yeah, these players, as you said, Mark Grant, as Mark Sweeney said at one point tonight, got to look in the mirror and understand their part in this, but also know that, as A.J. Preller just said, a lot of baseball to go this season.
Got to step it up, and you're absolutely right. There's plenty of time to do that.
I've got a look-alike batting stance for you. You ready?
Can I look one more time?
Sure.
Before you give the answer?
It's Ben Zobrist, who's at the plate. Switch hitter from the left side. You want a hint?
Give me circa. Era.
Current. Yeah. Former Padre.
Give one more look. Oh, you know what?
We saw him this weekend.
Looks like Yasmani Grandal a little bit.
You're right. The way he pulls the shoulder up there?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I see where you're going.
Kind of looks like he's chewing on his shirt sleeve.
Keeping that head squared towards the pitcher. Coco Crisp used to do that too, right? When he was healthy.
On the DL now, and how about that? 4th walk of the night for Ben Zobrist. So Nick Vincent, who had retired 4 straight going back to last night, walks the leadoff man here in the 7th.
And he has come around to score 2 times after being walked.
You do not often see a 4-walk game. Another left-handed bat for the A's as the catcher Vogt takes ball 1. A couple of hits tonight. Singles each of his last 2 at bats, including a run-scoring single back in the 3rd. A's got 3 in the third. Padres answered with 1 in the bottom half. And Oakland tacked another on in the 5th. 2-0 and 6 straight balls for Nick Vincent this inning.
Yeah, Nick's got to make an adjustment with that cutter or that fastball that he's throwing. And the mentality for a pitcher, as you take a look this inning, the breakdown for a pitcher, just concentrate making one good pitch. You get a grounder, chance you get a double play.
And that's a strike, 2-1. Coming into tonight, the A's hadn't had anybody walk 3 times in a game. And now 4 for Zobrist. So that happened. 3-1. Tyson Ross issued 5 free passes in his 5 innings of work. A lot going on with Vogt. Pine tar all over the place.
Yeah, he's going Ozzie Guillen with the helmet.
Painted fingernails. Fouls it back. 3-2. Nick Vincent being asked to work more than an inning after he faced just 1 batter in yesterday's game. $19 appearances for AAA El Paso this season for Vincent. .332 ERA for the Chihuahuas with 33 strikeouts.
So Bob Melvin sending the runner right there to try to keep out of the double play. 3-2. Zobrist was off at the pitch.
Vogt came up with Tampa Bay in 2012. When he was called up, he went 0 for 25 with the Rays. 3-2 is hit on the ground to the right side with the runner going. Spangenberg's got to go to first. 1 away. All right, tomorrow marks the 1-year anniversary of the untimely death of Tony Gwynn. So SD Live on Fox Sports San Diego is going to air an inspirational edition of the show, fondly looking back at Tony's incredible career, remembering his memorable life off of the field and celebrating the reason he is known affectionately as Mr. Padre. That's tomorrow after SD Live.
Yeah, that's one you won't want to miss.
After Padres Live, the post-game show, Dick Enberg, Ted Leitner, Alicia Gwynn, all part of it. Brett Lowry 3 for 3. 3 singles. 2 of them didn't make it out of the infield. And he takes strike 1. Lowry doing a good job this year keeping himself in the lineup. He's played in 61 games, but all kinds of injury issues playing on that turf in Toronto the last several years.
He doesn't get cheated either.
No. Big swings. 4 years with Toronto, 6 different stints on the disabled list. That's how you earn a reputation. Last year was a broken finger at one point and a strained oblique. Played just 70 games for the Blue Jays. Way outside, 2-2.
Sporting some ink.
A little bit. Zobrist off second, and the 2-2 to Lowry misses outside.
They're working around that last pitch. I remember when Nick first got sent down this year, he went down to El Paso to work on that cutter. Said sometimes the cutter got a little bit too big. He would work around it underneath a little bit and didn't have that bite to it. I think he worked around that last pitch. It was either a big cutter or a slider, that last one.
Vincent was ahead of him, now a 3-2, and he gets him to swing and miss. Reaching for the pitch, third strikeout for Nick Vincent here in his second inning of work out of the bullpen.
That straight fastball outside corner and has a little bit more giddy up on it. Boy, he's really late on this one.
Now 2 away with the first baseman Muncy at the plate. Just 1 for his last 14. And he takes strike 1. A Baylor Bear.
That's in Waco, right?
Yes, it is. I think he's got Ted and Scan going on the headphones. Foul back, 1-2. Muncy committed an error. Back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Oh for 3 at the plate tonight. His team, though, behind Jesse Hahn, a 3-run lead here in the 7th. Norris sets up inside, and he chases the high pitch. Strike 3. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings for Nick Vincent. And we stretch at Petco 4-1 A's. Prince Fielder driving in a run in the bottom of the 6th inning in Arlington. And how about the Rangers providing some good news, beating the Dodgers 4-1 as we take a look at the National University standings. First the National League West and then the National League Wild Card. Hey, AJ Preller said it, a lot of baseball to go here in 2015.
And the Padres trailing by 3, plenty of baseball here. Maybe comeback style for the Padres.
4 games back in the wild card as Derek Norris leads off against Jesse Hahn. First pitch swinging, and he wraps it foul outside of third. 0-1. Jesse Hahn has allowed just a run on a hit. Will Venable RBI double in the 3rd. Couple of walks for Hahn. Hit a batter. Other than that, pretty pristine. Just 88 pitches for the former Padre. And he misses inside to Norris, 1-1. Recently recalled, Corey Mazzoni up in the bullpen for the Pods, activated today as Will Myers went back to the disabled list. Sean Kelly started to loosen up the arm as well. Ground ball to third, and Lowry again with an off-balance throw, not in time. Second hit of the night for the Padres.
Well, as soon as that ball was caught by Muncy and Norris ran through the bag, Muncy motioned towards Bob Melvin and the A's dugout. We may have a challenge here. Bob Melvin is on top of the dugout, awaiting word from the phone. Looks like he is now retreating into the dugout. Let's take another look. What? Lowry really doing a good job over at third base, not getting rid of it. Ooh, very close.
Great job by Norris hitting the front of the bag. And he's safe.
Yep. That's a good point, Jesse. That's where you want to hit the bag, not the top of the bag, the very front. And Derek Norris did a nice job doing just that.
So a leadoff infield single after the good effort by Lowry. And here's Yangervis Solarte, first pitch swinging and hitting it well to right. Reddick going back, and at the wall he'll make the catch.
Missed it by that much. Looked like a changeup, out in front of a changeup a little bit. And just off the sweet spot, it sounded just a little bit.
Agent 26, Yangervis Solarte. Alexi Amarista hit by a pitch his last time. He's walked and scored the only run, and that's a ground ball to the right side. Nice job by Sogard. We can talk all night about the A's struggles defensively.
Yeah.
They've made a couple iffy plays, but a couple nifty ones too.
That's covering some ground right there for Sogard at second base. See where he starts? Nearly tumbles, and then on the run throws accurately to Muncy. He nearly bit it right there. Always spin to your glove hand side if you're going away from a play, because that's the way your momentum is going to carry, and have your throwing arm in that motion towards where you're going to throw.
Makes sense. You know who does a good job of that? Amarista.
Yes, he does. He most certainly does.
Melvin Upton Jr. pinch hitting for Nick Vincent. Goes a couple of innings.
Nice job by Nick Vincent.
That was nice to see. From the Department of Encouraging. Melvin started a couple of games for the Padres. Called up a week ago from his rehab assignment. And he hits that one well to left. His first hit as a Padre. Might be an RBI single. No, they'll hold Norris at third. Also encouraging. Pinch hit single. And the Padres have runners on the corners with 2 outs, and Will Venable coming to the plate.
Well, sometimes the ball's hit too hard to the outfield, and with Derek Norris running, sure, he's got decent speed, but not blazing speed. So with 2 outs, to hold that runner at third base, that's the right call. As we take a look at this throw by Zobrist. You go hard until you're told to stop. Glenn Hoffman throws up the stop sign. It was a good throw towards home plate.
So with Jesse Hahn approaching 100 pitches, the Padres have the tying run at the plate. 2 gone in the bottom of the 7th. And that may be it for Jesse Hahn as Bob Melvin comes out to the mound. He'll signal for the lefty. Will Venable is up. And a left-handed reliever going to come in for the A's. Pomerantz in, Hahn out. And the tying run at the plate for San Diego with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. They got to Hahn. Now let's see.
presented by authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, but the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Pitching change as Drew Pomerantz relieves Jesse Hahn. And the Padre goes 6 2/3 in his return to Petco Park. He's allowed just 1 run on 3 hits so far, but as they say, he is responsible for the 2 men on base. Pomerantz began the year as a starter for the A's, went to the disabled list, came back, and now pitching out of the bullpen. Former Rocky, Drew Pomerantz.
Yes, from the left side. Bob Melvin's going with the lefty on lefty here, and taking off the DL back on June 3rd. And since the time, he's not allowed to run in 5 relief appearances. That's over 4 2/3. You see the splits there. Lefties 133, and that goes to show you what Bob Melvin is hoping.
They're playing the numbers. Mark Loretta on the right, Logan White in the back, and on the left, Austin Smith, the 6'4" pitcher the Padres selected with their first draft pick. Moises Alou hanging out as well, working in the Padres front office. That's a big kid, Austin Smith.
Yeah.
Boynton Beach, Florida. Signed his contract today.
I like his build. I like his frame.
Can hit 96.
Good luck to Austin.
Got a curveball.
We'll see in the big leagues.
Pretty well developed changeup too, they say, which was a little bit rare for a high school.
Changeup.
Will Venable drove in the only run of the night for the Padres back in the 3rd. He faces Pomerantz here with 2 outs, and that's strike 1. Pomerantz pitched with Oakland last year, but before that, a few seasons with Colorado. 4 starts in his career against the Padres. None of them went particularly well. Venable lays off, and a flinch from the home plate umpire Mike DeMuro, but ball 1.
Kind of a herky-jerky motion for Pomerantz. Big looping breaking ball from the left side. High 3/4 delivery.
There's a fastball strike on the outer half, 1 2.
Pretty straight fastball at 93.
Pomerantz 4 starts in his career against San Diego. 0-4 record with a big ERA. Almost 8.5. Runner going from first, and ball 2 to Venable as Melvin Upton Jr. steals second and gets himself in scoring position.
So now the A's cannot go the short way to second base to get out of this inning.
And a base hit. Could very well make it a 1-run game. Second steal of the season for Melvin Upton Jr. And I imagine it was a foul ball.
Yeah, I thought it was a foul ball as well. Where Vogt got that one. Looks like off the shoulder. Yep. Top of the right shoulder.
Melvin and the athletic trainer for the A's are going to come out and check on their catcher. Big matchup here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pomerantz and Venable. Sounds like a great pregame interview or something, right? Pomerantz and Venable.
Yeah.
As Mudd said, so you want to be a catcher?
Then it looks like the umpire got it as well, because that ball shot out towards the pitcher's mound.
Maybe that's why he never signaled foul ball. Scott Kazmir, Andrew Kashner. Early baseball tomorrow, 12:40 first pitch. Before the 2 teams head up to the Bay Area. And yeah, they think it was strike 3. And they may challenge. you could almost read the lips in the dugout. There was no contact. And this is a little bit late to try and initiate a challenge. I mean, time has gone by.
You know what? From that view, it looks like it was a swing and a miss.
My initial thought was that, but then everybody just sort of stayed at the plate. The base runners belong to Hahn. Long battle here between Pomerantz and Venable. They've been working him away. And the 3-2 pitch is chopped high over to second base. Sogard throws him out. And that's it for the Padres here in the 7th. They threaten but do not score. And we go to the 8th, 4-1.
Oakland leading the Padres top of the 8th inning. Mark Sweeney and Mike Pomerantz. We are working on Padres Live, the post-game show, which will be brought to you by Cox Communications. But before we get to what's coming up, you got a special guest.
Got a special guest, Luke from Make-A-Wish, and he's the good luck charm tonight. The Padres need it, so Luke has a message for us. What do you got, Luke?
Go Padres!
I love it.
Nicely done, Luke. That's what we need. We need a little rally incentive here. Coming up on the post-game show, we're going to talk about what happened on the field today. Also, we're going to get a little national perspective on the Padres' decision to dismiss Buddy Black. And we're going to hear from Dave Roberts, the acting manager, his first post-game press conference as such. So we'll see you after the final out. Mark?
Thanks, Mike.
How about Luke?
Yeah.
Nice.
He needs to get the rally cap going. First, Corey Mazzoni needs to throw up a goose egg, and the Padres go at these A's in their bottom half of the 8th. Chance for Corey to go out there and throw up a 0, as Nick Vincent did a fine job going out there. 2 innings. He struck out 4, Nick Vincent did. He walked 1.
Simeon lays off the high fastball from Mazzoni. This is the 3rd big league stint for Corey this season. Came over from the Mets in the Alex Torres trade. First stint was a little bit rough, but his last one was much more productive as far as the ERA goes. As that pitch just misses, you can see he can bring it 95 on that fastball.
He's got a live arm. Good breaking ball.
Been really good in El Paso. A 1.99 ERA in 17 games for the Chihuahuas. Simeon takes right down the middle, strike 1. (3-1) to Simeon, and he's swinging, and he fouls it back out of play. A full count after it began 3-0. Billy Butler has moved into the on-deck circle with the pitcher spot due next. The DH.
Oh. Now that was a foul tip, and it got umpire Mike DeMuro. So you want to be an umpire, huh?
Right.
Right in the grill. That'll rattle the fillings.
Mazzoni has fought back against Simeon, and the 3-2 is ball 4. Here's the deal tomorrow. You pick up a sandwich, and you sit down, and you turn on Fox Sports San Diego
Love it.
at lunchtime. 12 o'clock for Cash and Kaz.
And call a friend.
Sure.
Tell them to join in. Maybe you can meet up somewhere and prop your feet up and watch a big league ball game.
Join us for the second game of this series between these two teams. 12 o'clock tomorrow. Get a chance to see Andrew Cashner.
Baseball under the sun.
Lunch with the Pods. First pinch hit appearance of the year for Billy Butler, who isn't playing all that much right now for the Athletics. Signed a 3-year free agent contract this offseason. Coming over from Kansas City. Started just 2 of the last 5 games for the A's.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. This Billy Butler kid, I can go down to the field right now in my loafers and beat him in a 40-yard dash.
Now I'm gonna hop back in the Wayback Machine here. And last year, you and Dick Enberg did a telecast from right by the visiting on-deck circle, a game against Kansas City. You were in the on-deck suite.
Right there. Yeah.
And
how you doing?
You were talking all kinds of trash to Billy Butler when he was with the Royals.
Well, we met before the game, and we kind of laid the groundwork.
You and Butler?
Yes.
Runner goes, and the pitch is lined through the hole on the right side and into right field. Simeon goes to third, and Butler collects a pinch hit in his first pinch hit appearance of 2015.
Oh, that was good inside-out hitting with the pitch. And Billy Butler pulling the trailer down the first base line. No, we met before the game, and I told him we were going to have a little fun if he were to pinch hit. And he played along. He was a good egg. Good kid, Billy Butler.
Runners on the corners, nobody out. And the infield will come in for the Padres with Burns at the plate. That was the 9th pinch hit of the season for the A's from 9 different players.
That's incredible. That really is. That's coming through. And Butler, when you look at him, he seems like a pull guy. Always trying to, jerk the ball out of the ballpark. But with the movement of the infield there, you saw Corey Spangenberg going over when the runner was going. He inside out of that ball very nicely to the right side.
That's what you call a good piece of hitting.
Perfectly executed.
Burns takes high, 1-1. A couple of strikeouts and a couple of groundouts this evening. Last year, one of just 2 rookies to appear in a game for the A's. It's a feather in the cap. Butler on first with the Royals last year, and of course Kansas City ended Oakland's season in that wild card game. Burns holds up, and the pitch misses up and a little bit away. 3-1. Dangerous spot for Corey Mazzoni with his team down 3 runs. 2 on, none out, and a 3-ball, 1-strike count.
With the infield in, you have to concentrate on keeping that ball down in the zone. Too many pitches up. Look at all of them. And then he humps it up to 96 right down the middle.
Another 95-mile-per-hour heater as Sogard waits. Three-two to Burns, and a little flare up the middle for a base hit. He beats the drawn-in infield as Simeon comes in to score. 5-1 A's here in the 8th.
Unbelievable. Got sawed off. You can hear the bat snap all the way up here. You make a good pitch, but that's the risk you take with the infield in. Cutting down the range of those infielders. Fights it off. And burns the Padres on that one.
Still nobody out. Another run crosses the plate. A 4-run lead. And Sogard coming up. Sogard has been on twice. He's struck out twice, and he's trying to bunt his way on, but that's a foul ball. Sogard had gone 22 straight games without an extra base hit before doubling yesterday. Had a nice game against the Angels in Oakland's 8-1 win. Drove in 3. Mazzoni back for his 3rd stint with the Padres this season, activated from El Paso, recalled from El Paso as Will Myers was placed back on the 15-day disabled list. Chris Budden told us earlier he's going to get a second look at that wrist and kind of take it from there. Tough break for Myers and the Padres.
You know, you mentioned the glasses of Sogard earlier.
Yeah.
I'm just going back and kind of dating myself here, but Darryl Porter.
Sure, the catcher.
Cardinals. Royals. Yeah. Pete O'Brien. First baseman. Indians. Mariners. Left-handed hitting first baseman. Of course, Chris Sabo, who you mentioned earlier, from the right side.
She's in that conversation. In the air to shallow center. Venable coming on, and he'll make the catch. Knuckling liner, and that's the first out here in the 8th. Go other sports too. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Eric Dickerson, the running back. Let's check in with Chris Budden. Chris?
Well, Jesse, you talk about Sogard and the glasses, and they've asked him, hey, why do you do it? And he said, well, I tried contact lenses. I just don't see as well with it. I've tried kind of the goggles, Oakleys. He's like, I didn't like those. He says he's never had a problem with the glasses. They've never fallen off. I like them, so, you know, why not? It's not broke, don't fix it.
Hey, whatever works. You don't need no rec specs. In the air to left. And Upton makes the catch. 2 away. So I wonder if he wears those during the day, like when he's not playing. It's the same pair.
Yeah.
Nerd power. That's what they call it.
That's pretty clever. I like that.
You like it?
Yeah.
You enjoy a good hashtag.
I like T-shirts. Clever T-shirts.
4 walks for Ben Zobrist. Coming into this year, Padre pitchers had not allowed a 4-walk game to an opposing batter since 2012. It has now happened twice this season. Paul Goldschmidt walked 4 times. That crazy game in Arizona that went 12 innings, and the Padres eventually won. Twice Zobrist has scored after walking, and there's a ball, 1-1.
Would you have to say, as we take a look at the bullpen, Evan Scribner warming up for Oakland, you know, Ben Zobrist over the course of his career, one of the most underrated players around? You really didn't hear a lot about him when he was with Tampa Bay all those years.
Tampa Bay, the operative words there.
Yeah.
Two-time All-Star, 2009, 2013.
But it gives you a good at-bat. A few times close to 100 walks on the year. Numbers aren't what he would like to have this season right now as you take a look at the line score for him this evening, as Jesse mentioned. 4 walks.
And that is a base hit into center field. Butler will be held at third as the throw comes back in from Venable. Bases loaded. And Mike Gallego coaching third base. He's playing it safe with the 4-run lead. He had a full head of steam. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he would have to shovel a lot of coal back into that engine to get going. He was thinking his lucky stars that Mike Gallego threw up the stop sign.
Zobrist aboard for the 5th time tonight. 1 for 1 in the box score. The catcher Vogt will be the 7th man to bat for the A's here in the 8th. And he lines to the first pitch, deep to right. Kept going back, looking up, and it's gone. Grand slam, Stephen Vogt.
First pitch, wanted it up and in a little bit. It leaks inner third. Boy, man.
Nine-1 A's here in the 8th. Second career slam for Vogt, who's got 45 runs batted in now. 5 tonight. Ground ball to short. Amarista ends the inning. But it's a productive one for the A's. A grand slam for Vogt. They lead by 8.
came as a surprise to the guys in the clubhouse, and there's a mutual admiration and respect for Buddy, but this is a decision that the organization made, and for me, it's more of, and the coaches, it's more of just being accountable to one another, to yourselves, and try not to let things that are out of our control distract us from what's ultimately important, is that to win baseball games.
Welcome back. That was part of my conversation with Dave Roberts earlier today. He said it was an emotional day. Him and Bud Black were very close and felt like the both of them had some unfinished business. But as he said, it's time to go win some baseball games. And we talked about the fact that that doesn't just rely on the sole responsibility of Dave Roberts. They have leaders in this team that have a voice, and it's also their job to kind of help unite this team during this time.
Chris, thanks a lot. And certainly the leaders, Derek Norris on the right, one of those clubhouse guys. James Shields among the pitchers certainly will have their say if they haven't already, as the A's bring in another left-hander, Eric O'Flaherty.
It's been 9 days since O'Flaherty's been out there on the hill. This left-hander, he also was on the DL. He was brought back off the 15-day DL back on June 2nd. Keeps the ball in the yard.
O'Flaherty appeared in 21 games with the A's last year, but you may remember him from his days with Atlanta or Seattle prior to that. Veteran lefty from Walla Walla, Washington. Spangia has twice grounded out to the first baseman Muncy. In the air, shallow left. Zobrist coming on, not going to be able to get there. Corey Spangenberg leads off the bottom of the 8th with a flare single the other way. He's now hit in each of his last 7 games started.
Hey, lefty on lefty. Foot is down. Sure, it's a little flare, but sometimes not hitting the sweet spot is a good thing. And with Zobrist playing where he was, he plays it safe. I mean, the A's are up 9-1. He wants to keep that ball in front of him rather than going for the shoestring catch. Keeps that double play in order.
That one misses somewhere. 1 ball, no strikes to Justin Upton. Ground out, pop out, and a fly out. Hits that one well to center. Burns comes in on the line drive, makes the catch, 1 away. Mark Grant, earlier in the night, you gave us your keys to the game.
As always, brought to you by our Honda dealers of San Diego County. We'll focus on the task at hand and all the doings before the game. As far as Buddy Black being relieved of his managerial duties, well, the Padres trail 9-1 and put pressure on the A's. Only 1 error. That was by first baseman Max Muncy.
Yeah, credit to Oakland defensively. A couple of nice plays at third base by Lowry. Matt Kemp with 1 out and a runner on first. '18th straight game that Kemp has started and appeared in the cleanup position. A few weeks ago, that switch was made. Flip-flopping Upton and Kemp in the 3-4 spots. Hit his 2nd home run of the year that last road trip in Cincinnati. Upton certainly doing his part for the Padres this year. Leads the team in home runs, RBIs, stolen bases.
Should be representing in Cincinnati.
I'd say so. There's a good hashtag, vote Upton.
I like it.
Ball 4. So Matt Kemp aboard for the first time tonight. And the Padres have runners on first and second with Yonder Alonso coming up. O'Flaherty called off the DL, as Mudd said, a couple of weeks ago on June 2nd. He has not yet allowed a run in his 2 appearances since coming off the disabled list. Padres threatening here in the 8th, down 8. O'Flaherty gets the call on the outside corner, 1-1.
Well, pretty basic from the left side for O'Flaherty as you take a look close to the action. The game really speeds up when you sit down there. O'Flaherty, fastball, slider, change up.
Lonzo takes low. This was a 3-run game just a few minutes ago, but Oakland exploded for 5 runs in the top of this inning. Capped off by Stephen Vogt's grand slam, his 2nd of the season. Big night for the Oakland catcher. Last year, the A's juggled playing time behind the dish. Vogt, Norris, John Jaso was there. This year, Vogt has emerged as the most everyday catcher and is doing his part offensively. Leads the team in homers and RBIs, as that is strike 3 called to Yonder Alonso. Looked like a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, according to Fox Tracks, which is pretty accurate, they're brought to you by Nissan. Pitch number 6. Just above the knee.
Certainly a frustrating night and a frustrating day for the Padres. Two outs for Derek Norris. One to the Padre catcher. And now a ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Okay, be honest with me. When you were a kid, growing up in Florida, correct?
Yes.
Did you know where Oakland was?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't.
In Illinois?
Yeah. When I was like 6, 7, 8, watched the World Series, whatever, when the A's were hot, early 70s. I didn't know where Oakland was.
It's funny you say that because the first time...
I just knew they had cool unis.
Right. But the first time they sort of popped onto my radar was the '89 World Series.
Right.
And they were playing San Francisco, so I knew
it
was geographically relevant. Mm-hmm. The Bay Bridge Series.
Always loved the unis.
Great colors.
Charlie Finley. Remember the mule they had a long time ago?
Yellow baseballs. He wanted to try that.
Yep.
He dreamt up the designated hitter. There you go.
Oh, I love that look. I just absolutely. Such great players, too, through the years.
They had it going in the 70s in the East Bay. Raiders in the NFL and the A's in baseball. Norris to center, hit a ton. Burns going back, though. He's got it, and that's it for the Padres in the bottom of the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. 9-1 Oakland. PetcoInsurance.com today and see how much you could save. And by Petco, what we feed them matters. Start of the 9th inning on a Monday night in downtown San Diego. Sean Kelly out to try and get 3 outs for the Padres. 20th appearance of the season. His last time out, he had a scoreless inning streak come to a close. He had gone 10 1/3 without allowing a run. And has allowed just that 1 run in his last 11 outings going back to May 17th. So after a little bit of a bumpy start to his Padre career, he settled in nicely. And he faces an American League team, as he did so many times, pitching out of the Yankee bullpen last year. And Max Muncy takes strike 1. Muncy 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts. Muncy, the only A hitter not to bat last inning, and he sends this one into the gap in right center. Kemp not going to get there, and it's going to one hop into the beach for a ground rule double. Muncy had been 1 for his last 15, but a leadoff 2-bagger here in the 9th.
Oh, Sean really missed with that fastball. He wanted it down and away and enter third. Long run for Matt Kemp.
And there's a flare past Alonso. Spangenberg gets it, but Kelly was late covering the bag at first. Muncy stayed at second base, but 2 men aboard for the A's.
Yeah, as soon as that ball was hit, Sean kind of stood his ground a little bit and did not go over there. Watch Sean, the ball is still isn't going. And with the shift on, you saw Corey way over by second base, and then it was too late. Gets by Alonso, Corey's waiting, holds on, does the right thing. But as soon as that ball is hit, you got to be heading over there.
So the first 2 men reach against Sean Kelly, and the pinch hitter will be Sam Fuld. 33-year-old started last year with the A's, was claimed off waivers by the Twins, and then returned to Oakland at the trade deadline. Rolls this one out in front of the plate. Norris will have to hurry, and he gets it. Nice job at first by Alonso. Both runners advance as we take a peek ahead for the Padres. Tomorrow afternoon, 12:40 start against the A's, then 2 in Oakland at the Coliseum, 3 in Arizona, off day, and then 3 in San Francisco before returning home for the Diamondbacks on the 26th.
And this is just one man's opinion why I don't like interleague play. The 4-game series split up in 2 different cities, as you mentioned. Oakland here, and then 2 up there. And then it seems logical to go down to Arizona and then back up to San Francisco in case we miss something.
Sure. So you're going to be in the Bay Area twice on a road trip with Phoenix sandwiched in between. Billy Burns takes a fastball strike. Burns has struck out a couple of times. They're doing a real nice job at the top of the order for the A's and at center field. With the infield in, rolls it to short. Alexi throws him out, 2 away. And Burns now 1 for 6 tonight. Crowd of just over 30,000 on this Monday night against the Athletics. And 2 away as Sogard steps in. You think of any more players who wear glasses?
I really can't.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. First pitch swinging over to first. Alonso takes it himself. And Kelly gets out of the jam here in the 9th. Last licks for the Padres coming up.
Mike Briley, Mariners.
game. Jesse Hahn, multiple weapons.
He's got the curveball working, and then just when you're thinking about that curveball, he goes up the ladder with the fastball. Curveball out of the zone. Hey, 93 to 95 on that fastball. Once again, the curveball, soften it up, setting up the heater, down and away. Oh, Jesse Hahn proved he's got good rotation, good location on that curveball, keeps it down and putting him away with the heater. Actually, I've seen of Greg Briley for the Mariners.
Ah, yes.
With glasses.
Yeah. Another left-handed reliever for the Athletics, Fernando Abad, comes out of the pen. Abad was sensational last year. 69 appearances in 2014 out of the A's bullpen. Had a 1.57 ERA.
Yeah, those are some incredible numbers. And for Bob Melvin, 3 lefties out of that bullpen. You saw all 3 tonight. Pomeranz, Flaherty, now Abad. And a perfect beginning for the left-hander to try to work on those splits with the righties. 167.
He's got those opposite splits. The lefties are actually hitting him much better. And the Padres will send up a switch hitter, Solarte, a lefty, Amarista, and a pinch hitter. Kelly and Alonso look like they're maybe discussing that defensive play in the top of this inning. Solarte will bat right-handed for the first time. That was all against Jesse Hahn. 1-1.
Well, perfect opportunity for Fernando Abad to get an inning of work. He's just one of the A's last 13 games. He's back on June 10th against Texas.
It's amazing how these relievers year to year,
yep,
almost unhittable last season, a huge part of their bullpen, all those appearances, and this season just doesn't quite have the same stuff. Solarte pops the 3-2 foul and out of play. No time to dwell on this one for San Diego. Mark, you were talking about it earlier in the game. In baseball, you just can't enjoy the wins for too long. You can't worry about the losses. And certainly when you have a 12:40 game the next day. Solarte hits that one well out to left field. Zobrist came in, now goes back and hops up to make the catch. 1 away.
Can't let it eat you up, right?
Clint Barmas, one of the veteran guys on this team who's been through it all. This game tonight, of course, not just the news. Bud Black fired earlier today, and on Padres Live, the post-game show, Mike Pomerantz, Mark Sweeney will have more reaction, including some national perspective on the Padres' decision today to move on from their manager. One and two. Amarista has scored the only run of the night for San Diego. That was all the way back in the 3rd inning. Padres had just 1 hit in the first 6 innings. as that one is hit off Abad over to first, and it'll trickle into right field.
Hey, base knocks at the big league level, any level, are tough to come by. Alexi Amarista will gladly accept that one. Going up the center of the diamond. Lefty on lefty. Put a good swing on it. Misdirected. And he is aboard.
He's aboard, and they're looking at Abad. We've seen the catcher take one, seen the umpire take one. Now a hard hit ball off an Oakland pitcher. All right, coming up, you know all about it. The greatest golfers in the world will converge on the Pacific Northwest as coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship live from Chambers Bay Golf Course will begin at 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports 1 and continues at 5 p.m. Pacific on your local Fox station, all streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Coming up this week, long conversation between Abad and the athletic training staff. But they'll head back to the dugout, and Abad will stay out on the mound.
Yeah, anytime you start messing with the ankle, the shin, you get hit hard, it can alter your mechanics. Then you start favoring your arm, you start throwing the ball differently, and can end up leading to injury.
Yesterday, just a gut-wrenching 12-inning loss for the Padres as Austin Hedges pinch hits. Two for 24 on the season and for the big league career. Padres dropped 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers over the weekend, and both losses yesterday, Friday night, tough to stomach. Tonight, not much easier to digest, but for very different reasons. One-two to Hedges. Nice take. Abad came up with the Astros in 2010. Pitched a little bit for Washington a couple of years ago. And he gets Hedges 2 away.
Boy, it was 66 miles an hour. Wow, that pitch had some funky action to it. See if he can catch it out of the hand. That's like a high changeup.
Yeah.
Wow. The ball almost like cut in to Austin Hedges.
Padres down to their final out. Amarista takes second. Venable with the lone RBI for the Padres tonight. Double back in the third to plate Amarista, who's out at second base. The 0-2 from Abad, and he got it. Although no home runs were hit in this game, the home run challenge continues through Father's Day, so make your pledge, please, by going online to homerunchallenge.org. Homerunchallenge.org. Final score tonight in the first game of this series, the A's 9 and the Padres 1. Lots to talk about with the managerial change. Mike Pomerantz, what do you got?
Well, Jesse, you're 100% right. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to break down all that happened with the Buddy Black firing. We're going to hear the national perspective on it. You're going to hear from Dave Roberts, the acting manager, from his press conference, and we'll have the buzz around the majors in a moment.